Ladies and gentlemen, it's that time of the year. Starting on Monday, January the 22nd, the official Oscars of 2024 will have their official nomination. So, what we normally do each year, we go and give our predictions of what should win or what should get nominated versus what will. And so I'm going to brag on somebody I don't think we've ever brought onto the show, but he's a really good friend of mine, great journalist, excellent person, Reggie. What's going on, man?
Man, good to be here. Good to be here. Always good to have a conversation with you, Sam. The year has been really interesting. One of the things that be great that your people probably already know about all the organizations you're in, but I don't remember all the organizations you vote for. I vote for the Chicago Indie Critics. We just had our awards last night. I vote for the African American Film Critics Association. I vote for the Critics' Choice Association, and then I also vote for the Film Independent Spirit Awards. And so I have one more vote left to do, and it will be interesting to see these Oscar nominations coming out tomorrow.
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy. Yeah, I don't think I've ever gone through all the different associations I'm a part of. I guess I can kind of do it here. I'm also
You
part of
should.
I'm a part of Critics' Choice. I'm also a part of the Washington D.C. Film Critics Association. Just joined the Online Critics Society. I was formerly a part of another association that's kind of bounced out, unfortunately. Um, and I'm also a part of AFC, which is African American Film Critics Association. So yeah. Also, Rotten Tomatoes approved as well. So I normally don't do all that. I just kind of keep it. See, Reggie's the plug. Reggie be plugging folks. Plugging me on my own thing is a whole nother level.
I'm just saying, man. Look, you putting in the work, and I mean, the only other plug that I'll give is for you is that you only don't you not only do film, but you do TV, and you do a lot of TV. You do so much more TV than me, man, and I don't even know how you even watch all the TV that you do, especially with kids, man. I mean, with young kids that you got to. I mean, you got to take places, you got to do things, you got to feed. Oh, my fault. We supposed to be talking about the Oscars. My bad.
Nah, dude, man, look, God's grace. That's it. That because I don't. There's no time. There's time. Somebody was like, "Do you sleep?" Because sometimes we record people that are on the West Coast, and they're like, "Isn't it 3 o'clock where you at right now?" I was like, "Yeah, it is. Got to get it in." But I digress. We about to go through some of these categories. So let's start off with best original score. So for you, I mean, you can pick if you want to place what you think are going to be the top five. I only have one in my head, in my heart, that I feel like should win. But I'm curious your perspective on what you felt were a good score for this year, or at least five of them.
One of the things that and we like, I always like to plug my people. I actually really do follow what Clayton puts out there. That doesn't mean I agree with Clayton, but I always look to see, Clayton, what are you predicting might happen? And if you looked at the last, I was writing for Variety at one point. I wish I could still plug that, but I'm not anymore. But because I was writing for Variety, of course, I'm thinking like, what are my Variety people are talking about? And Clayton is putting out that the best original score, five of them that he has, because I don't have five: American Fiction, Killers of the Flower Moon, Oppenheimer, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, and Saltburn. I think a original score is it should go to Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. That's
Thank
that's
you.
my that's my
God,
one, huh?
thank you. No, you are absolutely correct. Because I'm not gonna lie to you, Reggie. That was me. I was like, because the thing about the score is so technical. There's so many different facets to it. Like it really tells and progresses the story every transitional scene that happens, and there's so much art that's being thrown at you. But the guy Daniel, he was also there. We talked to him a little bit at one of the Warner Bros. Events. Cool guy, but you could tell he's not just eccentric. He's musically inclined. Like he put so much into the first soundtrack. I don't know how he got it even better with the second. So now I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut into your
Oh
time.
no, no. See. It's really funny that you say you sorry. Is that I want to tell this little short story for a minute. I have a best friend from third grade, and he believes that the way in which you have a conversation is that one person says something, and then the next person, and you wait, and then the next person says something. I have a brother who believes that, look, if I got a point to make in between while you making a point, I need to make that point. I'm that guy. I think that as we talk, it's a discussion is a little bit give and take. So I'm glad you jumped in there. It's no problem for me. So again, it's my first time being on your show. So I'm just gonna roll the way you want to roll.
No, I mean, I think I agree. Like Clayton's pretty cool, and I mean, he's on it. He's always on it. I always go and kind of track and see what he's kind of looking at. Um, the interesting thing that he kind of added up here was Killers of a Flower Moon. The thing about that score, I think it's a really good score because it feels really unique. A lot of the things that they kind of add to that, I felt like I was like, I may kind of put that one in my, top five. I think that the thing about that one is just the subject matter is so harsh that you can't really
Sink into the score. You have to go back to the movie and and then try to separate it as I say, let me listen to the music because you're so focused in on all the other things that are happening throughout the film. That's what I would say, how I would jump in on that. And if you're talking, Sam, I cannot hear you. Did we lose you? Or did you guys lose me? Okay, I guess I'll just take over the show. Hi, this is Reggie Ponder, the Real Critic. I'm taking over Sam's show. Don't know where he went, but who cares? You guys didn't like him anyway. Hopefully, you guys. No, I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding. Come on back, Sam.
I don't know what happened. I just got cut. What was the last thing you heard me say?
I heard you say very little, man.
So after we started talking about Clayton, that was when I kind of brought up Killers of the Flower Moon. You heard what I said about that.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And I jumped in while you were talking, and I said because it seemed like you were trying to formulate your thoughts on it. I think that the score for this is that you have to kind of separate it from the movie, so that means you have to go watch it again because you were talking about how the subject matter is so harsh, and so sometimes with those kind of movies, you're not really listening, keying in on the music because you're keying in on all the other stuff that's happening. That means the music did its job, by the way, but
Yeah.
you do have to go back, in my opinion, in my estimation, and go back and try to listen to it a little bit.
Yeah. No, I think you're completely right with that. We do have somebody else coming in. This is another Africa member.
Okay.
What's going on, Mike?
What's going on? You guys see me?
We can see you, Mike.
All right, cool. How you doing?
All right, how you doing?
Doing good. I've been watching you, the real critic. I've been reading your stuff, but no, seriously, nice to meet you in person.
My pleasure to meet you, and that means you must think Sam is all right too. So that's all right.
He got me into this space. Been watching him since middle school. Now I'm part of a critic association. Have my own platform now and everything. So, yeah, so yeah, I thank him for a lot of things. So
Sam, it looks like you frozen, man.
yeah, he's frozen in Speed Force. It's okay.
So we're gonna be professionals and we're gonna keep it moving while he's try to unfreeze. What we were talking about before you came in, Mike, is that we were talking about original score, and Sam was asking what did I think my top five was, and I didn't really have a top five. I really felt that Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse would be it. It would be the one that would probably that's the one that's memorable for me. Where Sam left off was that he liked what the list that Clayton put out from Variety, which was American Fiction, Killers of the Flower Moon, Oppenheimer, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, and Saltburn. And Sam was saying that he felt that Killers of the Flower Moon was really a good score, but that because it was a tough subject matter, that maybe you weren't paying attention to the music as much as you would. And
Sure.
I agree with that. I said that I think that, you know, you have to go back and listen to the watch the movie again, but listen to the music just to appreciate what they did with that score. And then I'll let you jump in here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I agree. I had these two as my favorite scores here, as you see, for Saltburn and for Spider Verse. Definitely, I have a favorite in mind, but I do believe that, as you mentioned, with Killers of Flower Moon, and there's certain things in terms of scores adding into the story and actually making things seem more impactful than just being just a simple song just playing in terms of like a character theme or something like that, right? But with Oppenheimer, yes, you have certain things and moments that are happening in a cinematic sense. Definitely, that was Christopher Nolan. But I do agree that I would not leave Killer the Flower Moon out of the question in terms of best score.
It's interesting, Sam. Now that you're back, is that that Clayton does put American Fiction there,
Yep.
and I am very happy that he put American Fiction as one of his, because you know what, the the way that score sets the mood for all these different things that happen in this film, I noticed it. So a little bit different than Killers of the Flower Moon. I actually noticed what mood they were trying to put us in with American Fiction, and I think it was brilliant personally.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with that. I think that that was actually one of my lists when I did like top five, because it's a the thing about American Fiction is so good, but the way they transition through, like the score works very well with it. I'll tell you one that I think I put on my list because it's just such a unique soundtrack. I don't know if it's the best out of all of them, but it's very unique. That's Poor Things. Poor Things is a very interesting movie, but if you really listen to the instrumentals and the way they conceive a lot of the score, it's a
Oh, he went out. He went out again. So again, we're gonna be professionals here, and I'm gonna comment, Mike, on you having Saltburn. Saltburn, Poor Things,
happening.
Saltburn, and Poor Things were problematic for me. Both of those, both of those movies. So I couldn't even listen to the score because I was having a hard time uh, watching the movie.
I understand. I understand, sir. Yes.
I just had a tough time.
I
It,
mean, look,
But go
Saltburn
ahead,
was rough.
go ahead, Sam, and finish on Saltburn. I mean, on Poor Things, because you were making some points about how it really worked, and I know we got a lot to get through, so we can't talk about every last one of these as much as we are for this score. But go ahead.
Yeah, yeah, no. I think the thing about Poor Things is that, like you said, it's a really harsh situation based on just the story alone. But there are certain moments and sequences that happen, like maybe where they're in the lab or when there's a ball scene or when they're on the boat. The score changes and meshes very well with whatever's happening on the screen. And so it's kind of like there's a good relationship that's going on with the director and the person that's scoring this that I have to give credit for. Um, the other thing, I guess I'll give credit to Oppenheimer, I guess, because Ludwig is a beast. I can never deny Ludwig's talent. Whether I don't care for Oppenheimer necessarily, but I think that the score was contrived very well. But we'll get into all that. I digress with that.
Yeah.
Mike, I think that's most of mine. Did you have any more besides Saltburn and Spider Verse as far as top five score for you?
If I just want to make correct that Barbie is not for best score for song, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to make sure that I'm not getting those mixed up because that'd be another thing. I definitely give, yeah, definitely with Spider Verse, Saltburn, um, Oppenheimer, just for again the cinematic purposes, Killers of the Flower Moon, and I believe, well, I'm trying, and Poor Things, as well. I put that in terms of my list with that. Again, I think again, we'll get into it later in the conversation, but it might just be a full sweep, for one particular film, getting, in terms of all the awards and stuff like that. But we'll see how it goes. But yeah, but for me personally, I think the number one winner for me would be Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, only because, again, not in just you had the opportunity of watching the live orchestra. That's a dream of mine one day to go to. And I understand that's an experience that for me, like, if somebody tell me, what's your favorite song? Well, I like this movie score. I listen to movie scores at work or everything. And to me, the Spider-Verse scores in the first film and then the second film definitely added into a way that I feel like that definitely really touched me personally, obviously, as you can tell, but in a way that also in the form of animation tied to into the score and everything like that, and these cinematic scenes that they're transitioning to me, I feel like there's no film this year that's been that impactful as a score than for Spider-Verse.
I will tell you, Sam, is that the Chicago Independent Film Critics we had our awards ceremony last night, and Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse did win for Best Original Score.
Okay.
I mean, it should win, but I can see, and this is the part, and I want you guys to be honest, and we'll do this with each one of these categories. What's the best versus what you think's gonna win? The truth of the matter is, it's a no-brainer for me what the best is. I think Spider-Verse is absolutely best, but I also thought that Spider-Verse, the first one, should have been not only nominated, it could have easily won as well. But this is even better. And the first one never got nominated, I don't think. And I'm concerned that this won't win. I think it's going to get the nomination, but I'm concerned it won't win. I think that they'll give it to what they know could be an easy sweep. But I do like that Sony is putting it in theaters to add emphasis to what this could be. I even talked to Lord and Miller temporarily when I went to the orchestra. I was like, look, so people can really truly understand the gravitas of what's happening with this score, bring this orchestra score to other theaters. Bring it to as many as you can so people can really undeniably say this is what's going on. Because Oppenheimer is doing the same exact thing. And I just told him, I was like, if you really want this to really win and give it a good chance, take it across all the different states and take it internationally as well. Show them the orchestra, show them the work that Daniel put in. But go ahead. Sorry, what were we gonna say, Mike?
I just think that when you talk about who should win and who will win, I think that Oppenheimer, because you're correct, Ludwig is Ludwig. I mean that it is what, and there's nothing you could say negative, but the reputation precedes itself. It's just gonna get some stuff some thoughts and recognition or consideration that maybe an animation film might not get,
It's always been like that. I mean, do y'all think, I can't remember, does anybody fact check this for me before we go on to best original or best original song? Did The Lion King win best score when it came out? Does anybody know?
I don't know off the top of my head, but we got the internet, so while we talk, I'll check.
Because it should have, but because it's animated, I wouldn't be surprised if it didn't nominate it or win. I do know, I thought it won an Oscar. I can't remember if it won an Oscar for Best Picture, but anyway, I digress. Let's go on to the next category. Next category is Best Original Song. I got some picks on that Spider-Verse soundtrack, to be honest with you, but I think that some people know that there are some favorites on the list, so I'm gonna bring up Clayton's list right here. He's got up here Billie Eilish, What Was Made For, another one that's also Barbie, I'm Just Ken, performed by Ryan Gosling, The Fire Inside from Flaming Hot, It Never Went Away, I think that is my man John Baptiste, and American Sympathy. And then last but not least, Road to Freedom with Lenny Kravitz in Rustin. So what are you guys' picks? What did you guys vote for Best Original Song?
Mike?
Yes, as you saw in the Critic Choice Awards, they're definitely going to be a clean sweep with Barbie. Now, in terms of which film, or which a song within Barbie, because I think the win that Billie Eilish got for the Golden Globes definitely deserve recognition because I that has been used a lot and also used in a different way or moment in that film that actually everybody uses now in their own personal life. But with I'm Just Ken, that's also just been a staple, more popular song that been going out throughout this year. So really, it can go either way with those two songs, but it definitely will be with Barbie. And in my pick, personally, I'm going to go for now. Which song I enjoyed more is "I'm Just Ken," but what I think will win will be what was I made for?
Oh, Billie Eilish. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Did you have any other songs from any other movie that you felt like should win?
Um, Again, of course, Spider Verse. I am dreaming. Um,
Thank you.
yes.
Thank you.
Yes. Because that to me again, after that song plays in that moment in the theater, I just sit down. It's like, okay, what just happened, and you just soak it all in, and then it leaves in a monotone. It didn't have this action packed end credit song that the first one had. It was a mellow tone, and you just kind of just like an ambient flow. And I'm just like, yeah, I'm listening to this on the car rides and all this year. So yeah, definitely, I am dreaming by I think it was Leland Tyler Wayne, Rosie, Rakeem Mayers, Mike Dean, and Peter Lee Johnson and Landon Script Wayne. So yeah, those but yeah, that I felt like with that soundtrack definitely killed it with that.
Okay. Before I go to Reggie, we got another CCA member coming into the fray. Ricky. What's up, Ricky? Ricky. I think he's dead. Ricky. Ricky. He's
Hello? Am I here? What's going on? Very
No,
confused.
he might be frozen.
There we
Oh,
go.
there you go.
Y'all know that reference. Y'all know that reference points
Good.
to you.
Of
Let it
course
go.
we do. Of course we do, Mike. You're the youngest person here, Mike. Don't play.
I don't. Well, definitely now. I don't have the longest beard, so he
Definitely not.
What's going on, Ricky?
What's up, man? I'm excited to be here. Just was watching the football game, got the text message. I was like, man, this football game's not going how I wanted to, so let's go ahead and come down here.
You're gonna be okay, Ricky. The Bills are gonna win, even though I'm rooting for the Chiefs. So you're gonna be all right,
Well,
man. You're gonna be okay.
I don't know, man. Anybody but Mahomes is my method now. So, but yeah, let's talk some Oscars, man. I'm ready.
Yeah, so I'll let you go. We just got done talking about best score. So you can give us who you voted for best score, and you can kind of preface it like giving what you voted for versus what do you think is the best versus what do you think is going to actually win. So then we're going to move on to best original song in a second.
Yeah. So are we doing song or score?
Score right now. Score. Right
Score.
now. I'll let you do
Score?
score, and then we're going to do song right now.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. So for song, man, I don't know. Best Past Lives really has an incredible score in it. It's one of my favorite scores of the year. I thought that was a beautiful score. Poor Things is probably my favorite score of the year, though. And what made it special and different for me was Jerkson Fredericks, who scored the film. It was his first ever scoring of any film. And I thought it was masterful the way they did it and included it in the film. Let's see here. Society of the Snow has a really good score. Oppenheimer's going to run away with this, which I'm not necessarily mad about. I just feel like there's better scores. Poor Things and definitely Past Lives are two of the ones that I like them a lot more. The Zone of Interest has a really good score. And I think one that's really slept on is American Fictions. So those are some of my favorites, but Oppenheimer's going to run away with this.
Ugh, hurt my heart, my spotty heart.
I forgot. You love that. I mean, it's an okay movie. So the score is pretty good, though. The score is pretty good.
So we were about to go through. Reggie's gonna go over best song, and then I'll let you do best song right after that.
Sweet.
Yeah. Mike mentioned a number of them. For me, you know, at the end of the day, best song for me is the one that I remember that plays in my head over and over again. So it's interesting, Mike, that you say for you is "I'm Just Ken." The one that really plays over in my head is what was I made for? And I don't know if I'm biased or not, but I am definitely a Billie Eilish fan. And I think that the way that Billy and Phineas write, uh, it's just memorable. It's just stuff that just kind of sticks. And so I would vote for "What Was I Made For."
Okay. Okay. What do you think is gonna win though, Reggie?
What Was I Made For?
Oh, you think it's gonna win straight up? Okay. Okay.
If it doesn't win, and you know, I won't be in Hollywood, but I will totally catch a plane, and don't make me do it. Don't make me do it.
Oh man. Okay. So Ricky, what do you think?
Everything Reggie said is 100% accurate. What Was I Made For? Not only is it one of the best original songs of the year, it's the best use of a song this year as well. I think that oftentimes we lose sight of films that are played off in the credits and aren't used very well. Obviously, there's some great songs in Barbie. Some of my other favorite ones, Keep It Moving from The Color Purple is pretty fantastic. Quiet Eyes from Past Lives is pretty great. But to me, it's a Billie Eilish, and her second Oscar is, you just go ahead and write that in Sharpie, ladies and gentlemen. It's over.
Yep. Yep.
Dang.
Yeah.
Wow, this is getting interesting now. I like this fight. For me, I think what's gonna win is absolutely Billie Eilish. I think it's a no-brainer. It's an easy win, but it's the way that they use the placement of the song within the context of the movie is perfect. Now, I will say that Mike brought up one of the other songs that I feel was a great placement. Specifically, the way that the movie ended was, you know, I'm dreaming, and I think the thing about it is that not only did it have a great outro, but it kind of told this progressive story that worked with the song. But I'm also biased because I actually like the soundtrack and the score for this. I think that this technically had the best score of all the movies that came out this year. But yeah, no, I think it's gonna walk away with it, to be honest with you. And I wouldn't be mad at it. I wouldn't be mad at it. Now, this is the funny thing. I wouldn't be surprised if everything on this list comes up, but they, instead of putting Road to Freedom or It Never Went Away, if they put up the Color Purple song or Peaches with Jack Black or something crazy like that. The thing about it is
Peaches from Jack Black didn't make the cut though.
Yeah, it did not make the
didn't make the short list. Okay,
yeah,
I was like,
did
I
not
was
make
worried
the,
because everybody was like, "Man, Peaches is gonna get nominated." I was like,
yeah, will not make the cut.
But yeah, okay, so that's good. So we're gonna go through the next category. So the next category on the list, Reggie, keep me honest.
It's production design.
All right, cool beans. So production design, because it started with you, Reggie. I'll let you go up first.
You know, it's really interesting. You're gonna let me go first. I actually want to hear what Mike has to say on this one because he liked Poor Things, which I did not, right? And I think he's gonna. I think, oh, here he goes. I think he was gonna bring something that I probably wouldn't put out there. Mike, why do you have Barbie?
I honestly think that as a design, my major is in graphic design, and I actually I'm a project manager in construction, so I have an eye for set design and stuff. So definitely the fact that they're able to play in Barbie Land in a way, in terms of making it the kind of toy aesthetic, but also something like as a world in a very unique way. I think, to me, feels that kind of gives it more offense of set design. Now, you can look at Poor Things definitely from a psychological perspective. There's scenes where obviously we're setting the tone of the film and the ambience of it all. I felt like, yeah, I definitely believe it should be on the list. what I think is going to win. I honestly think Greta Gerwig was very. If you actually watch the interview that she was doing, how strategic she was in terms of how she talking about the layout of this entire film, and especially within Barbie Land. To me, as someone who has an eye for design, I appreciate her approach to it, and I actually give this one win to her for that basis alone in terms of how she was able to um, strategically have laid out because it could have gone wrong really quick. You know, definitely in many different ways with that. But I think they actually delivered on that. So I think it's gonna be that.
So
Okay,
the Chicago indie critics, we chose Barbie as well. So it's really interesting. But I didn't vote for Barbie. I actually I didn't. I didn't. But I will tell you is that as much as I hate this is probably bad to say that I hated to vote for Oppenheimer. I didn't hate to vote for Oppenheimer for anything. Sometimes I just don't like the machine that just moves with a movie, so to speak. But what they did with Oppenheimer. From a production perspective, I you didn't even hear me say it. Incredible. I didn't say it. I didn't say it. I did not say it. I did not say it. Their production design is just they really did a very, very good job with that movie in relationship to that. A movie that I want to see at least in the mix. I don't think that it'll win, but I think they did a really good job with that as well. Was The Color Purple. I think The Color Purple did a phenomenal job from a production perspective. I don't think it's going to win, but I think it was absolutely worthy of nomination. But I would say Oppenheimer for me, Mike.
Okay. Ricky, what about you?
Yeah, I'm on the Barbie bandwagon for this one as well. To me, it's just how they utilized all the set pieces in this truly blew me away. Oppenheimer, like this is a strong category because I really feel like the 5 that potentially will get nominated from The Color Purple, Killers of the Flower Moon, Oppenheimer, Poor Things, and Barbie, I think they're all incredibly done with the production side of things. So I think all of those are really strong. Although I didn't love the film, Saltburn is another one that really kind of stood out production design wise. But I think Barbie's going to win the Oscar. I really do. I think a lot of the Barbie wins are going to be those below the line wins because I don't think it really stands a chance anywhere else. So,
dang. Oh man, we going for the jugular. So I'll say this. I think that the big 3 to watch out for are exactly the ones that you guys have said, which is Barbie, Oppenheimer. But this is the one I'm gonna add in another factor with this one. Because I felt like the production and design for this movie was amazing. And that's Poor Things. I wouldn't sleep on Poor Things. I think that Poor Things is gonna get a nomination for this. Because there's certain small moments that just feel fantastical, but they make them practical. And even some of the way they kind of handle the transitions, it looks like this is like a fantasy world, but it's not. And I think that the safe bet that's probably going to win is going to be Barbie, but it could go to Oppenheimer as well, because like Reggie said, it was, and I hate to say it, it was amazing. I mean, like anyway, I just know that he put in a lot of work into the production for this, and he put a lot of blood. He bled for this. And matter of fact, going with the brand new studio to figure out how to make it practically work and make sure to not have any VFX. I mean, that's a lot, man. Like, that's a whole lot to not do VFX and to try to make everything practical. You gotta applaud the efforts, regardless of what you think. As a critic, I gotta say it.
I wouldn't blame him. Again, I ride the coattails of Christopher Nolan any day of the week, and I think he was my number 1 most underrated, director of all time. And now this year, after his long career, basically, career and everything, if he gets his win, or the film gets his win and everything like that, I would not be mad at all.
Now, I will say that Clayton brought up one other one that was on my list, and that was Maestro. I think that a lot of the production and the design for Maestro, a lot of those specific moments and scenes, and specifically the tracking and how they're going transitioning through scenes, man, all that felt so practical and was well done. So I'll give credit to Bradley for like a lot of his production design as well. I mean, it may be, I mean, I'm trying to think what they may remove from this list to add in, but this is a safe list. This is a really safe list. At least 4 of these I can say are gonna be able to be up there. I'm not sure about Killers of the Flower Moon. What would be something to add into this out that hasn't been put up here? You guys think?
Zone of Interest is one to keep an eye on.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man, that was rough, bro.
It's one of the hardest things I've ever watched in my entire life.
That was rough. That was rough.
It's interesting because Poor Things was a hard thing for me to watch. I actually left there angry, man. I understand this seems to be a darling for some reason. Maybe their PR machine was just phenomenal, but I don't even understand the purpose of this movie. I don't even understand why they would even put money behind making this film, unless they were just trying to make a soft porn film for me, so I could just see Emma Stone naked for half of the time and be like, oh, now I know how she looks.
Look, we got to tread carefully on that one, Reggie, because I mean, I said the same thing about a certain person in this big old movie. I didn't understand why they had to be naked for these dream sequences, but we'll go there. We'll go there a little bit later. So next on the list is best VFX. Let's look and see what Clayton kind of put up real quick, and then I'll let you guys kind of give your opinion on what you think should be for best visual effects this year.
So real quick on this one, because I can be quick and get in and get out. I will tell you that I did not go with you to see Godzilla +1 or -16 or whatever. So I didn't get to go with you to see that one when we were out in LA. You were like, Reggie, I'm going to go see this movie. And so I don't know if that is worthy. And that makes me mad because I've heard some good things. So I'm about out of this category because I didn't see all of the ones on that list.
No, I mean, but you can say one that you think like you did appreciate the VFX for. Like you can give something. Which one out of any of the movies you've seen this year you think was good as far as execution of VFX?
Well, what I'll tell you is that even the Chicago Indie Critics, they voted for Godzilla. So
wow.
Right. So I'm hearing a lot of folks saying, "How come we haven't voted for that one?" So I want to hear what Ricky and Mike got to say. I don't have nothing, man. Nothing.
So Reggie, hit me up out of this. Like I might have to hook you up, man.
Okay.
Yeah. I gotta say, Godzilla, if it does not win, I definitely want it to be nominated because this film needs to be recognized for its achievement in terms of filmmaking. Again, $15 million is this film cost them to make. And I think that a lot of Hollywood films today, this film is a case study of us actually going back to square one to basic filmmaking and actually being our benefit for the most part. In some cases, because for one, I going back into how all these films, especially you mentioned Guardians of the Galaxy and Love and everything, which one thing that having a big budget, some of the visual effects be to his favor. But we've seen consistently throughout this year of these almost $250 million films, and yet poorly made CGI or visual effects. And I feel like at least this film should be recognized. I don't whether no think it should win. You go back to the list one more time.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't think it's going to win. I think it's probably going to go. Okay. All right.
It's okay. It's okay. Take your time.
See, because the creator, I got, man, that review, man, that guy, to this movie, man, was ridiculous. But
and technically, somebody stated that Across the Spider-Verse technically can be counted as best VFX as well, even though it is an animation.
I think it's gonna get nominated.
I
think
don't
it's
know.
gonna get nominated.
You think so?
Yeah.
I never conceivably thought of it as like best VFX, but if it is, I would nominate it.
Oh, right.
But yeah, okay.
But yeah, I think with the creator, other than with one character aside, really, because I mean, you can say I saw good visual effects in District 9 with that, in some cases with that, but yeah, I don't know. I will probably maybe I would like Godzilla to get recognized for this because again, I feel this film definitely need to get more recognition as much as possible. But that's just my personal favorite out of the bunch.
Okay, Ricky, what about you?
Yeah, The Creator is definitely a movie that came out last year. Should it have? I don't know. The movie was bad. It just would pay. There's certain movies that you hear the things like Oscar, like the thought of hearing the Oscar-nominated film, The Creator, just like makes my skin crawl. Like even I don't know. Like it just does.
Ricky, I just want to say that I can absolutely hear the announcer saying, the Oscar-nominated Creator. This is the first time it was nominated in this category. Last year was. I can hear that. I can hear that, man.
I'm sure you could, and I would really just hope that that's not I hope that's not the case. But personally, this list to me is really just whatever. Guardians of the Galaxy is a movie that came out last year too. I don't know. Society of the Snow is probably the one that I would pick. Like, I feel like that has some great FX. Godzilla Minus One's another one. I wouldn't like honestly if any of them would win. Godzilla Minus One's perfectly fine for me to win, just because it would just be a unique win for this category, especially going up against the heavy hitters of Guardians of the Galaxy, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, because those are all big budget type movies. But yeah, this is kind of a throw. Honestly, Poor Things isn't a bad win here. I'm sorry, Reggie. But yeah, give me Society of the Snow is probably as my favorite amongst the favorites. As long as I don't have to hear the creator, I really just.
You and me both.
Yeah.
Somebody once said that was the greatest sci-fi movie of this generation. So,
look, I hate to disappoint you, Ricky. But the creator's gonna get nominated. It's 5 categories. Like there's 5 different options. Like the creator's gonna lump up into the mix. But what would I hope would win is honestly it's a toss-up for me between Spider-Verse and Godzilla. I mean, I'm fine with either one. I would prefer Godzilla to win because I'm worried that Godzilla won't even get nominated in the Best International because it's such a stacked race. It's so stacked. And I feel like Godzilla should get something. They're not going to put it in the Best Picture nomination. And if it skeets through international, I'll be proud of it getting that nomination. But this could actually be a win/nomination. So if it gets there, I would be fine with it. But yeah, don't be surprised if the creator or Rebel Moon or Guardians of the Galaxy end up in this. It's most likely going to happen for Best VFX.
Hey, Rebel Moon's a movie that came out last year too. Did you know that?
Yeah, you don't Rebel Moon.
It definitely came out last year.
That was during Christmas, man.
Definitely a movie that came out last year.
So anyway,
it was a movie. Yes.
So yeah, if I had to pick it between Spider-Verse or Godzilla, but I'd probably pick Godzilla.
Yeah.
All right. So next on our list, we've got Best Sound in a major motion picture. Who wants to go first on that one? Best Sound.
For which one?
Oh, Best Sound.
Best Sound. This is an easy one. Oppenheimer's going to win. Nothing else has a chance.
I think I think that is,
like the atomic bomb it is.
I think that's true. I think that is absolutely true. And I think that's true. And I would say though, is just for what they did with the sound for Maestro with that final scene.
Yes.
It could get my vote. I'm just saying the sound, the technology, how wonderful they did with that just made me like I was just totally in love with that. But I think this hands down is going to be Oppenheimer. But I just wanted to make sure to give Maestro some love in that regard.
Mike.
Oh, I already said it.
What? Oh.
Yeah. Gain some cover if you can.
What else would you not? What else would you
nearby?
nominate?
You can also get radiation poison. So I'll be
God,
far away
right.
from this film as you can because it's gonna obliterate everything near its path.
What else would you vote for, Mike?
Actually, okay, so Maestro, I actually have the package that Netflix sent us, for Maestro. I watched that film on the plane with, when your ears are kind of like shot, and stuff. You have to, pop your ears back and everything. So I had a unique experience with Maestro, with the soundtrack and the score, and the sound design in this film. But I actually agree with you. Like it was definitely a film I think that definitely should be nominated for best sound. And no, for us just for the aesthetic approach that they're dealing with that. But I really that's the only two films, Oppenheimer and Maestro, for my opinion.
Oh man, I can't believe I gotta say it again. I remember being in the theater, and I think we looked at it in Dolby. And when they were going down through the countdown, and your seat starts shaking, you don't know what's going on. Like from a sound design standpoint, the way that they crafted a lot of this is amazing. Like the sound is undeniably good. As much as I didn't really like Napoleon, I think Napoleon actually has some good basis on sound and production as far as the battle sequences. It's just the movie itself I didn't necessarily care for, but some of the VFX and the battle sequences for Napoleon were actually really good. I never forget that horse sequence. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Horse got a freaking obliterated, and it was just like a battle, like it was going through your ears. It did. I mean, Ridley Scott did a good job with the sound for that. I don't know about the rest of these that Clayton put up here. No, you know what?
Ferrari?
I would definitely say that Maestro is got to be nominated. It should be nominated.
It just has to be. But I understand why they would do Ferrari. I don't. But I think that Ricky is right. Is that we can move on to the next category.
All right.
I said something because I had to say something, but Ricky's right. And that's probably going to be the only time I'm going to say that in my life. But Ricky's right.
All right,
damn, I'm never taking Reggie back to the donut spot, man. Come on, man.
Oh, the donut spot, though.
Oh yeah, no, I appreciate that, man. Ricky,
you know what? Better yet, wait a minute. Who's the one that got the phone back? Wait a minute.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. You know what I'm gonna say, Ricky? You know what I'm gonna say, Ricky? Don't lose my number.
All right, next up is best hair and makeup. I think that there's an undeniable winner with this one, but I'm curious y'all's perspective. What's best hair and makeup?
Maestro, next. Yes, easily.
Okay, go ahead. Keep going.
That's Maestro should win this. I love the hair and makeup here. Poor Things is the other one that I really love here. So sorry, Reggie.
And I feel you. I feel you. I couldn't get past the movie, and that's bad. That's just bad because you're supposed to be able to try to like aesthetically and understand something about something, but I understood nothing about nothing. You just call me a poor thing.
Somebody clip that. Somebody clip that. Mike. Best hair and makeup.
Definitely out of I guess all films I can think of really, but Maestro, I was really drawn to Bradley Cooper's performance in terms of that. Again, so even though whether talk about being best actor or performance of this year, definitely again in terms of the makeup he done, because it's not just him just being Bradley Cooper. It's like you have to change his entire face, from even when he was younger, right, up to when he was really really old. Like the film starts with very old, wrinkly, Bradley Cooper in an interview by the piano and everything, and you just kind of drawn to mannerisms, stuff like that. And I was just like, that's like this. I'm not seeing Bradley Cooper. I'm seeing somebody else, right? So I definitely would see Maestro for that, but maybe Rustin. But again, that's like more of a theater type of hair and makeup than professional film industry hair and makeup that transforms somebody into that role. So it's like, but
So,
it's Maestro.
so I don't see how in the world. Firstly, if Maestro wins it, I think that's great because I was watching very, very closely, Mike, watching Bradley and how they did the little turkey neck, and I was looking at that real closely. See, did I really buy that? Did that make any sense? And it did. I bought it 100%. What I also bought though was the color purple. I bought the hair and makeup in the color purple, hook, line, and sinker. When you can look at somebody like a Dion Cole and not know that was Dion Cole, when you can look at what they did with Fantasia from beginning to end, when you can look at how Danielle Brooks, when she was the feisty Danielle Brooks to the broken down Danielle Brooks, what they did with hair and makeup was absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yes.
I just have no faith in the Academy, so.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Right. So I was like, I'm playing safe answer. I know how the system rolls. I just know how. But no, you're absolutely right, Reggie. Absolutely right.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I think the win honestly should probably go between Maestro and Poor Things. I'm back and forth between William Dafoe and a lot of the design aesthetics. I don't know, like you know what? Costume design would probably be more inclined to win for like Poor Things, but I mean, I did like the way they handled a lot of the set design and the makeup and the hair for Poor Things. But I think that Maestro, I think that might be a lock for it, honestly. I don't see why they wouldn't, but let's go through to Clayton's list. So he's got up here Golda, Killers of the Flower Moon, Maestro, Oppenheimer, and Poor Things. I think from an Oppenheimer standpoint, I get why that's here, but I don't think it necessarily needs to be here at all. I think that I would replace that with Color Purple. Color Purple, when you look at, like I said, man, like Reggie said it, like the way that they handled the hair, the makeup, the aesthetic, it was flawless. Like I really appreciated what they did with that, and I think it should absolutely get a nomination for sure. But yeah, let's move on. What is next up on the list? We got best costume design. So all right, so we got
No. You were supposed. I thought you were doing. At best costume becomes before editing. You're right. I was looking at your list. All right, go ahead. Costume. My bad.
Nah, you good. All right, guys. What are we putting up for best costume design? I know what Ricky's gonna vote for. I'm curious what Mike's gonna pick up.
All right, well, let Ricky go first. What you got, Ricky?
All right, so what I think should win should probably be the color purple. That's what I think should win. What will win will probably be Barbie or Poor Things.
You said mine, so hey, I'm gonna go. Sam, Ricky got me. I'm gone. I see.
Hey, look, Reggie, that's what means we think alike, man. That's just we're on the same page, man. Like, look at that.
That's,
in the pie.
That's actually hilarious. I knew you were gonna put that. I knew you were gonna pick that up. Okay, so Mike, what do you think is gonna win?
Probably Barbie or Poor Things, and because this is why the only way I will see Poor Things getting it is just because of a consistent sweep. It's like I think like in terms of I don't think Poor Things if they get this, that means they're gonna also get makeup, and that's to me is like that's just my opinion. If Poor Things gonna get this, Barbie, no, I think aesthetically for what they were doing just with the set design. Costume is definitely very important when you're talking about Barbie, and much as hair and makeup again is important on that film. I do believe in terms of costume, I think it's had to be Barbie.
Yeah. What Clayton put up for his nominations was Barbie, The Color Purple, Killers of a Flower Moon, Oppenheimer, and Poor Things. I actually agree with Ricky and with Reggie. I think that The Color Purple should nab this, but
Yep.
realistically, it's going to be between Barbie or Poor Things. Poor Things realistically is probably going to win. But yeah, you put that out there, Reggie.
Yes,
Yeah.
please show
Give that. Give that.
but some respect. I absolutely do, but I know the Academy.
You saying that the Academy is what?
No,
I didn't hear you. I'm sorry. What'd you say?
I think I'll translate. Yes, there you go.
Oh,
Please,
Oh, that was incredible.
please
That
show
was
me
incredible.
opportunity.
What a segue.
right, I know, right?
we'll regret this recording in.
That was a movie that came out last year too.
That was a movie that came out.
Y'all need to stop. Stop.
We love cinema.
Y'all need to stop.
I
Oh
do
my
love
God.
cinema.
Yes.
Okay. So next category is best editing, I think. Let me make sure I got it right. Yep, best editing. What do you guys vote for best editing for this year?
What I voted for, what will win? What I think should get nominated, and it will not even see the light of day, is the Iron Claw. And it's such a fine-tuned, edited movie that it should be nominated way across the board. But that's what a dream scenario for me is. But that'll never happen in a million years. But I do believe this is Oppenheimer again.
And so it's really interesting. I wouldn't be mad at that, Ricky. It did not cross my on my list. This movie has bubbled to the top for me in many categories, and that's Anatomy of a Fall. And I was really glad that that Clayton had it on his list. I was really surprised at how that film captured me.
So
it captured me in a way that I was not expecting, and I think that from an editing perspective, when you look at some of them cuts, it is so funny because it's going from here to up there to down here. And it's not the kind of editing for me that felt choppy. It just felt like I was in the story. It was the kind of editing that made me feel like I was there. That's why Anatomy of the Fall really touched me in that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Mike.
I'm glad that you mentioned Iron Clock. I thought I was the only one that thought about this because when I saw this film, I definitely believe that the editing definitely added into the emotional elements of them, just that entire family, and it just turns into scenes that were that was happening in those films. It's like you weren't able to convey the emotion out again how you're cutting this movie, and again, much as other films, again, I personally, I don't know will get nominated, but I definitely think this would be part of the conversation. But again, when war times happen, they just drop atomic bombs and just nuke everybody. So we should all just run, and save our, and grab our loved ones and move everyone out the side and protect ourselves because there's nothing stopping this. Yes.
Yeah. Normally I was going to go by Clayton's, but I agree with you guys. I think that Iron Claw should be in the consideration for this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they missed their time gap because a lot of us didn't get the screeners on time to be able to vote for the time frame, but maybe the Academy got it and they're going to possibly put it into some kind of consideration. I think that it should be, but whether or not it will, that's going to be the question.
I do want to take a moment, Sam. I mean, because I can say it on your show and not my show, because more people watch your show than they watch mine. Is that it's Sunday, right? But the whole issue of allowing the critics to see the movies when we need to see the movies, there were some people that really stunk at that, and I'm pretty upset about it because you want me to vote, but you don't let me get a screener. You won't allow me to see the movie. You push it all the way to the end. And there was a couple of movies on the interest, a couple of movies that I didn't get to see until the very, very last minute. And I'm like, for real? Seriously? Seriously, is that how y'all gonna do that?
But,
So I mean, you mentioned it, so it's a sore point for me.
but listen, this is my first year. I mean, I even got a full year in this critic association. I'm just taking anything I can get.
I know.
I'm just happy to be here.
No,
I
Mike,
don't disagree. Reggie's 100% right.
Yeah, so this is common. I feel you because I was getting things late, and I was like, "Oh man, really?"
I feel the same thing about The Color Purple.
Yeah, they were slacking on that. But anyway,
And we'll have a whole different conversation about that in a whole different category later. But
yeah,
yeah.
I will let anybody watching the film studios. I'm just happy to be here. Thank you, because it's just.
No, but the thing about it, no. I mean, I'll double down on what Reggie said. This is my first year in CCA too. I've been in other critics groups in the past, but that help facilitate screeners with the Music City Film Critics Association, not the other one. But that said, I think Sam got that one. But that said, those movies coming so late in the game, we already have enough movies on our plate, right? Not everybody has the opportunity to see something throughout the entirety of the year. So if you're not going to provide opportunities for the team, the purpose of what we're supposed to be doing is voting on films that we think are the best of the year. If you want your film for consideration, you got to do whatever you can to get the film in front of the critics that are voting for the best movies of the year. And there were so many films pushed later in the bubble. I think The Color Purple, for the main reason it was pushed so far, is because they wanted the cast, the crew, to promote the film, and because of the strikes, they were unable to do that for so long. However, the problem with that is you run into the risk of what you did here, and you miss the bubble. Now, for the Academy, they don't have any fucking excuses at all. I don't know if I can cuss on the show. Sorry if I did. My bad. But for the Academy, they have no excuses. Every film was at their disposal because their voting didn't end until last week or whatever it was. So no excuses for them. But for our purposes, there's a lot of films, The Iron Claw, at the top of my list, that should be nominated in maybe a half dozen different categories. So Color Purple is another one that I don't feel like is getting enough love, and especially didn't get enough love from our group because of the timeliness that could be part of it, the timeliness of whenever it came out, because that's another film that I feel like should be sweeping many different categories.
Yeah, I'm gonna say this about best editing. I'm looking at Clayton's list, but I have a lot more other films in the back of my head. I thought Maestro, from an editing standpoint, executed really freaking well. I agree with Reggie. Anatomy of a Fall. Like, I mean, even some of those court sequences, it felt like I was there, and it was just edited so well. Even Saltburn. Saltburn had some really good transitional edits that I was like, it caught me off guard, and it was
you were talking about film I couldn't get through,
but it was edited and done really well. I had an animated movie that I thought was freaking animated. It was edited really well. Sesame. I thought that the editing and the progression of how they went back and forth with certain scenes and flashbacks, I thought the editing in that was phenomenal. But again, I digress. I can add to the list. Like Clayton's put on his list The Holdovers. He put Poor Things. He put Killers of the Flower Moon. He put Oppenheimer. He put Barbie. I didn't pick any of those. But it's not to say that those aren't good edits. It's just to say that I think this is a really stacked list, and I'm just curious to see. It'll show what the Academy is really looking at, because there's a broad range of films that have great editing this year, and I wish they could get real recognition like they really should.
Yeah. Now that's really interesting that you put Saltburn out there, because you're making me think about Babyface. I'll drink your bath water. Come on. Come on, man. I knew Babyface was singing about it, but I didn't know that somebody was going to actually do it.
I mean, that scene was that's an interesting scene.
Yeah, just like a graveyard. But anyway, let's go. Let's keep pushing, okay?
Moving along.
No pun intended. Best cinematography. What do you guys got for best cinematography this year?
What you got, Mike?
Yeah. Next question.
What did you raise up?
Oh, I have to adapt this. This is the complete screenplay of the Atomic Bomb movie.
I think this is the time that somebody else is going to break through, Mike. I think I think the train is going to have like a car kind of derail.
Yep, I can see that. Honestly, to me. Okay, I don't love Killers of the Flower Moon. I think it's speaking of, I don't understand how it's edited. That should not be nominated for edit. It should have been edited at least another, I don't know, hour and a half. But the cinematography in that it's my favorite part of the entire film. I'm with Reggie. I think that could really sneak in and get a win there, surprise people.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get off, Sam, because there's no reason to have me and Sam on at the same time.
Reggie, we're agreeing, brother.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
That's
what I'm saying. We wasting their time, man.
No, it's all good because we're still dissecting.
Oh, we got some deep categories coming that I'm pretty sure we won't agree on. So that's okay.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
We get to this actress race, it's gonna be funny.
Exactly.
And director race, that's gonna be even more funny. I think that this is one. I mean, Clayton put up here. He put Oppenheimer, which, yeah, of course. He put Maestro. I would agree with.
Yep.
He put Killers of a Flower Moon. He put Poor Things, and he put Zone of Interest. Zone of Interest, low key, probably is the best. From a visual standpoint, from a cinematography standpoint, like it is eye catching. I think that the two contenders is really Killers of a Flower Moon and Zone of Interest, but don't be surprised if Saltburn ends up on this list as well for best cinematography. Cinematography was amazing in Saltburn.
Agreed.
But I don't know, because there are other movies that I feel like could fit into this same slot as well. And I feel like it's going to be just like editing. Like some other stuff I think is going to creep in. I don't think they're just going to pull it for Oppenheimer. They could, but I think that's a wasted category if they sit there and do that. Oppenheimer is going to sweep in a lot of different ways, but I don't think it has to sweep in best cinematography, in my opinion. But I'm gonna leave it at that. What's next on our list? You got
Documentary feature.
So best documentary. All right. So real quick, has everybody here seen a good amount of documentaries this year that they want to add?
My documentary watching was sparse, man. It was I think I saw 5. You know,
I was part of the voting committee for CCA, so I saw a lot.
So I'm gonna go with Mike, man. I always want to be like Mike.
Pow! Go ahead, Mike.
You show me the list.
What?
The list.
What list? No. What do you think? Like, what was your favorite documentary?
I can't tell you. I really didn't see any.
Okay.
Oh wait, never mind. I'm lying. American Symphony. I like American Symphony. I actually really appreciate still Michael J. Fox. Surprisingly, I was that was one that was really I kind of find interesting again. 'Cause I'm just a fan of that, fan of his and everything. But yeah, I think American Symphony, in my opinion.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna divert everything to Ricky. Ricky, what was the best documentary this year, and what do you think is gonna win best documentary?
20 Days in Maripol should win. Maripol, whatever it is, should win. It's hands down one of the best documentaries of the year. It's fantastic. It's breathtaking. It's insane. Highly recommend checking it out. It'll nominate in this and probably international feature. Going to Mars, the Nikki Giovanni project should be nominated. It won't be. Stamped from the Beginning is another one that should be nominated. Won't be nominated. And I loved American Symphony. I thought it was great. I think Michael J. Fox is a good movie. I just think that it's too paint by numbersy for the other, like the meaningful story of it. Like when you think of an idea of an Oscar nominated documentary, I want something with hearts and story, some backbone. And to me,
Yeah.
if you haven't watched 20 Days in Ameripool, watch it. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
Go ahead, Mike. I'm sorry.
No, I haven't seen it, so that's where I'm like that. That's the two I saw. I think American Symphony is one I have. Again, I have to add that on my list. Because there's still some of 2023 I haven't again gotten through. But yeah, so many you can do.
Mike, it's the Chicago indie critics. We voted in the Michael J. Fox movie, and I knew I didn't, but I knew that it was going to win. I knew it was going to win because when you talk about again that brand name piece that just kind of goes with that, and there is it's not like it's not a interesting story or good. It's just but that brand name carries it across the finish line, and that's what happened, I think, in Chicago.
Yeah.
I think for me, I've seen 3 of these that are on the list. I've seen Beyond Utopia, American Symphony, and Still. I really wanted to watch Four Daughters. I really wanted to watch 20 Days, but I never saw them. Out of the 3 that I've seen, I mean, I would probably give it to American Symphony, but Beyond Utopia is actually really good as well. But there was a couple of documentaries that I saw that didn't get any kind of recognition. I'm not really sure why. Have y'all seen Maxine's Baby? The Tyler Perry story. Did y'all see that?
Oh yeah,
Yes.
I like that a lot. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that was on the list. Yeah. Okay.
But it hasn't been nominated anywhere. So I'm
No.
going to ask Ricky: is it going to be nominated this year, or did they miss the cutoff? Like that's why I was gonna ask, because something similar happened. I think it's last year. I was going through something. Where was I at? And it was the LeVar Burton documentary on Butterfly in the Sky, Reading Rainbow, and I thought that was a really good documentary, but it never got picked up. It didn't go anywhere, so that didn't go anywhere. But this year was looking at Tyler Perry documentary, and I was like, it didn't even show up anywhere. So I don't know, Ricky, do you know what happened with that? Did it come up with nomination?
Because what happened was it got dropped right on, like, it came out at the AFI Film Festival. It came out there, and then it premiered there, and then it just dropped on Prime Video randomly on November 17th. Like, it just dropped on there, like nothing. Like, it was strange because, to me, I agree with you. Like, it's a phenomenal documentary, and I just don't think nobody watched it. I think there's a lot of I don't know why. I mean, first off, Tyler Perry, I think whatever anybody thinks of him, I think he's one of the like what he does in his work is mind blowing. Not just with his mind, but his like how he helps others is just something that's out of this world. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. They just put it on Prime, and just I don't think they thought anything of it other than they were just releasing it, which is kind of sad.
Yeah, it's almost like they just didn't plug it in.
But they actually did plug it, Sam. So it's really interesting because I got to interview both the directors. It was featured here at the Chicago International Film Festival. They had, I mean, that's a big, I know it ain't Toronto, but it's Chicago. Come on, man. I mean, they paraded the people throughout. They were doing Q&As on virtually and all other type of stuff. Maybe I don't know. Maybe some of just fell through the cracks, but I know they were promoting it. I think I'm really interested, Ricky, that you said that you really liked it because you saw a lot of documentaries. So I was just biased because I think when you start to talk about Tyler Perry, I'm not a Tyler Perry fan in terms of all his movies. I don't know who I'm a fan of all their movies, but I think Tyler Perry is just one of the smartest people in the industry. I mean, he writes his own stuff. He produces his own stuff. He has a distribution deal with his own stuff. He stars in his own stuff. So he just keeps putting the money back and back and back and back. I just think the guy is just really smart, and he knows what his audience is. He knows his audience. So he says to the rest of us, as critics, which I'm not happy about, but he said, I'm not going to screen my movies for you guys.
Yes.
I don't need to. I don't need to screen my movies for you guys because I know my audience is going to come and take it. And when you look at the beginning of that documentary and they talk about who is the guy who has the most number ones and then blah, 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 his name wouldn't even come up. You wouldn't even think that was was Tyler Perry. So I thought they did a pretty good job with that. So it's interesting, Ricky, that you like that and having seen a lot of documentaries as well.
Yeah, the reason why I brought that up is I think when it was being released, I saw a lot of different rumblings with like press, like being able to do covers for it. But I'm talking about like from an award standpoint. You know how like Warner Bros. Be pushing a lot of stuff towards us. Amazon pushed a lot of stuff towards us. This didn't get pushed towards us. Like we didn't get anything in the mail. We didn't get any kind of email saying, "Oh, like please consider this for a documentary." Yada yada. That's why I said that's what I mean by push, because something similar happened with Ava DuVernay's movie with Neon when it comes to Origin. Like Origin came out, but it was like push it in some way that it can lean more towards how great it really can be looked at from an award standpoint.
I feel that.
And I just don't think they did that for Maxine's Baby, unfortunately. But yeah, all right, let's go ahead to the next one, which is this is gonna get interesting. Best animated feature. All right. Ricky, what's the best animated feature? I saw your look.
Sorry. So I am a fan of two movies last year, animated, not just two fans, but two movies that I felt like were probably the best, maybe three. I wouldn't hate seeing The Boy and the Heron here win just because of the simple fact that it's kind of going up against a lot of juggernauts. But my two favorite animated movies last year were Elemental and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. I think the animation of both of those films, I think they're just the two best animated movies that came out last year. And to be honest with you, I loved the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem just because of the nostalgia feel as I grew up. And when I grew up, I was a big fan of the Ninja Turtles. And this one really kind of upped the ante quality of film. I loved how they utilized teenagers as the Ninja Turtles. That was so cool and how they did that. And I just feel like between that and Elemental, I think one of those two films should win. But we all know what's going to win this category. So.
Yeah, it's really interesting that you bring up the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, because my daughter Carrie received their MFA in animation from DePaul University, and here in Chicago, and was saying, "Dad, you really need to watch this movie. Have you seen it yet?" And I had it for a while, but I was like, "Oh, no, I haven't seen it." Ricky. Again, I don't even know why you need me here. It really is that good. They did I liked it a lot. I think for sure Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse is going to win. But if that's not nominated, that we do have a problem.
Agreed.
Wait, where's Mike? Mike
got mad. You see, he caught the bet. He caught the bet plane.
Did he really leave? Mike, you got that joint on backwards, dog.
Oh.
Yeah, I hear that shit on backwards. Oh my.
Yeah, that's what's gonna win. So Mike should have did what you did with the one with Oppenheimer, Ricky, and just say, "Hey, it's gonna be Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse," because I think it is. Yeah,
we all know what Sam's pick is. So.
Oh my gosh, y'all are funny to me. So let me pull up Clayton's list real quick. He put up The Boy and the Heron, Elemental, Nimona, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I have seen a lot of animation, and I definitely agree with you guys that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles absolutely is one of the best animated movies this year. It is phenomenal, like on so many different levels, not just from an animation standpoint, but the way they executed it. The Boy and the Heron is amazing as well. Like, it is so freaking good. It's one of Miyazaki's best that he's done in a very long time. Of course, you guys know that I'm gonna vote for and hope for that Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse is gonna win. From a technical standpoint, from animation, it is pure. I don't know. It's a masterpiece from an animation standpoint. Like, regardless of how you feel about the movie, like from an animation standpoint, it is flawless. But there are certain movies that I feel like just got skipped over, and I hope get nominations. And I'm talking about a movie like this called Sesame. Sesame came out very early, It was like the beginning of the year, but to me, it is, if not one of, maybe the best animated film this year. And I just don't think it's gonna win, but I pray that it gets a nomination. There's another film, and one of my good friends, that's a part of Team JVS, also brought it up. But I do think it is one of the best animated films this year as well. But it's anime, and animes don't really get recognition from animation standpoint like that. It's called The First Slam Dunk. This movie is amazing. Like if you're a sports fan, this takes you through the grind. It's just one game, but the whole entire movie is based on so much on ambition and drive, and the way that they handle the animation for it is amazing. It's just not going to get any kind of recognition, unfortunately. But those two movies are like honorable mentions that I hope to get in, but they're not. Like something like Elemental is absolutely going to be there before it, even though I think that those other two movies are better. So, but yeah. Where are we at now? So, best international feature. Ooh, now this is gonna get interesting. Ricky, let you go first on that, homie.
For me, this is a battle between two films that I think that are just spectacular. That's Society of the Snow and The Zone of Interest. I think The Zone of Interest is obviously going to run away with this because I feel like this is going to get some important nominations in other categories, which typically leans to a win in this category. I think it's going to slowly start running away. This is a film also, if you remember last year, what was it? All Quiet on the Western Front. Is it Neon? Neon. This is a Neon film, right? No. Yeah. Neon, yes. Zone of Interest, Neon film. So for some reason, Neon just fails to promote any of their movies apparently during the war season anymore, because between this and how they didn't roll out Origin, this really could have, I feel like The Zone of Interest could have been in the conversation for so many different categories, whether it's being a contender in Best Picture, because I feel like this movie has more to say than probably what will win Best Picture. And there's some great supporting actors. Sandy Huller should be double nominated, period, end of story, because she's fantastic in this. This should be in screenplay. This should be an international. I think he's going to get in director. So Zone of Interest, I think, is going to win because of that.
So the movie that I want to throw in there, because I did look and see what Clayton put out there. The movie that caught me, and Ricky, I like the fact that you talked about your bias in terms of growing up watching the Teenage Mutant Ninjas, because I have a bias for teachers, and seriously, and the Teachers Lounge just caught me. I mean, hook, line, and sinker. That film caught me. Every little piece that happened with that film, and every character that flowed through there was interesting to me, and I was in there like, I hope that I wish that movie would win. I know it will not, but I my bias is the Teachers Lounge.
Okay. Mike, what do you think? What was your favorite best international film? What do you think is going to win?
Again, I think I'm glad that Reggie, said that, because again, I also have a close knit, relationship with teachers as well in my family. So, and I feel what my personal viewpoints now currently just in our country, how we are treating, with teachers and everything, that kind of just hit home with me a lot personally this time of year. Especially, again, even though not film, but shout out to Abbott Elementary for, again, adding just bringing awareness to, to teachers and stuff. But now in the international sense, this is not just just for our nation. This happened globally. What's going on with, the struggles of that. So I feel like that this film definitely, to me, is kind of like, I guess you can call it whatever bias, but for me, I feel like it's a film that should, just to bring more awareness of just terms of the issue that teachers are going through, in a more global sense too. So, yeah.
Okay. So it's gonna be interesting. This is an interesting category because I agree with you guys, but I'm gonna add another wrinkle into this, because technically, Anatomy of a Fall is an international film.
Yeah. That's right.
And even though it does technically have like
it's
English,
not the short list though.
I know, right? It's weird because it should be because honestly,
I thought it should be too, Sam.
Sandra to me is amazing in Zone of Interest and this, and it's insane in the same year. Like she's just crushing it. But I felt like Anatomy of Fall should absolutely have been there, and Zone of Interest probably will win. But another film that I felt like, it'll probably, I don't know, Society of a Snow could wedge that out. I don't know, because I saw the movie Perfect Days, and that movie was really freaking good. But it's not going to get any kind of recognition. Like the smaller movies that are kind of considered indie, I don't want to say they don't promote them up. They just don't. I don't know a nice way to say it. Like they don't promote up those ones that could get into that category. Because the truth of the matter is Godzilla -1 could end up in that category. But I don't think it will. It should. It should. Suzume should end up in that category, but it's not. So I don't know.
So the biggest reason why Anatomy of Fall didn't get selected was because of France. France picked the Teacher's Lounge over Anatomy of Fall, which is the reason why, which is insane because Anatomy of Fall would have been a lock in this category.
I think it would have been a lock. I totally agree with you. But I think when we start talking about,
sorry, they picked Taste of Things. Sorry, not Teacher's Lounge. Taste of Things is what they picked.
No, you're good.
Sorry, my bad.
Yeah. But what I was going to say to that, Ricky, I think is that you try to be strategic, and that might have been a major miss right there to not put Anatomy of Fall. But I understand you say, hey, I got another good film. Let me at least get a nomination, because I can at least at some point in time say Oscar nominated film, but it's so much better to say Oscar winning film.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought that was a drop. That was a whole L in my personal opinion. That's something like that happened last year with something that I saw. I was like, man, this is one of the best ones, and then the region just picked something else. Let's see, what do we got next? So this is the best adapted screenplay.
Okay, so I have personal viewpoints of what the term means of being adapted screenplay, because I know when in the nomination of the Golden Globes and Critics' Choice, I was kind of confused. Like, are you considering this film being adapted? What is it being adapted? But no, it's not what you think it's going to be. I actually think, and I don't know, American Fiction definitely should be part of that conversation, because I've actually read after interviewing, Jeffrey Wright, Sterling K. Brown on about this film, and knowing about the original book, and then I read it just from my own personal knowledge. I actually feel this is a great, film that adapted the story, changed it in ways that it could be from what it was, but still conveying the message now about. I guess you say about Hollywood terms, definition of blackness within Hollywood films or in media, or defining what black art is, and again, but still adapting in terms of the tropes of that book. And the fact that I personally read it, I feel again, I feel American Fiction is my number one. I think that should win.
What do you think's gonna win? What do you think everybody's gonna nominate?
He's alright.
That's
Oppenheimer.
I read it. I read the freaking thing, and I was like, okay. I said, but yeah, it's.
But what's interesting? This is going to be one of those things where I think Clayton had Poor Things out there for this. Poor Things, not for me, but Poor Things. The love that they're giving this film. It absolutely could be a sleeper, but this is what I think should. Oh, you don't see me yet, right? But this is what I think should win.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Yep.
That's what should win, and this one should have been nominated.
Oh man, you're gonna hurt me. It hurt me. Come on, Reggie. Come on, Reggie.
That's all I gotta say, and I don't want to drop the mic because my mic was expensive, so I'm gonna just
yeah.
Yeah, I could cry with that one. Dang. Um, Ricky, what do you? What's your take?
So
on
it's weird because like obviously Barbie was thrown into the adapted because of the Academy, and because of that, I have a prediction here. I don't think Barbie gets nominated for adapted screenplay. I mean Clayton has it winning. I think right now, I think it's a little 3 dots means it's going to win. I think in that graph that you had.
Oh, okay.
But for me personally, I don't think it would. To me, American Fiction should probably win this. It's probably one of my favorite scripts of the year. It's actually it's incredible. I love the tones that Cord Jefferson does. There's moments where you cry. There's laughing, and it's a balance of blending that just blew me away of how I was able to bring all that together. Oppenheimer's going to win. I think Zone of Interest gets in over Barbie for the 5th slot. So,
yeah.
Wow. Dang. Okay. Y'all came with the heat on that one. I don't really know. I think that American Fiction is definitely going to get nominated. Oppenheimer, we already know, is going to get nominated. I kind of agree with Ricky. I think that they can interchange something else with Barbie. I just don't know what they would put in its place. Killers of a Flower Moon could get nominated, but in terms of what will win, what would be cool is if they made a surprise and gave that to Cord.
100%.
That would be freaking dope.
100%.
Like, because Oppenheimer's already going to win a lot. They're already, well, we'll talk about what they're locked in for by the end of this, but we already know they're locked in for at least 4 different categories in general. I don't see Poor Things nailing this, but I do think that American Fiction could win it. Do you think that if they remove Barbie, that Origin could slip into this, or is it too controversial?
Origin's not getting it.
No,
they're not taking Barbie out of this. I that's the part where I saw that list, I was like, wait, really? Like that was the one I scratched. I understand Barbie and everything, but I was like, I read this screenplay. I was like, I have it. Like, I was just like, what? Okay. No.
Yeah,
that's what I'm very passionate about. Like, no.
Yeah, we went to see Origin in LA, and we went to see it, and it was a premiere. If they call that a premiere, then I'm having a premiere in my house next week. You guys can come over. Hey, y'all invited. I got the movie. We could, wear. I don't even know if I even wore anything fancy. I'm just saying that I think your point, Sam, about the way in which they marketed this film, and everybody said it right away. It just wasn't good, and that's why it will not. If it gets even one nomination for anything, I'd be like, I'd be totally shocked. It's not going to get there. This is too big of a category. It will not get a nomination, in my opinion.
What category do you think it could? What's his best chance of winning a nomination for?
Actors.
And that's a hell no.
That's a hard one.
No, that's a hell no. Because if you look at,
I mean, if it pulls at Andrea Riseborough, I mean, everybody's been canning it the last few weeks. So
no, I hear you. But when you look at African American women and being nominated in this category,
Wow.
he dropped it again. He dropped his mic again, but it's too expensive, y'all. So
I mean, African American women being nominated in the category, not even like getting a win. The only person, and we already noticed, the only person who's won as an African American is Halle Berry, and it's going to be your people. I like Lily, right? But I think that the things that people are saying about how Lily really wasn't the star of this film, and that in many cases Lily is not the doesn't have to do a lot of the heavy lifting. I believe they put her in there. It's like, well, we got to put somebody else in there instead of all these white girls. We got to put somebody. And she did a really great job. I'm so happy that she was nominated. But I'm just saying, would you really consider that as like one of the most powerful performances of the year? I like her a lot.
She should be supporting. She should be in supporting first off.
Yeah,
let's get that out of the way.
That's where I think she would belong. But you know, everybody knows that's somebody else's category. So
right. That was an intentional thing, but we ain't got there yet. We ain't got.
I didn't say it. I didn't say it. Ricky said it.
We'll get to the actresses really soon. But yeah, I don't know, man. Did I even say mine's? What did I say for mine's for best supporting? Oh no, never mind. We ain't got
We're not there yet.
Yeah. Okay, so adapted screenplay, you guys already went through. So let's go through original screenplay.
So if I could just jump in here right away, Clayton got Anatomy of the Fall and Past Lives, which are two of my favorites, right, of this year. I like both of those movies. Past Lives really did it for me. It just did. That opening scene where you got the people saying, I wonder what they're doing. Do you think that they're husband and wife? Well, maybe that's their friend. And I do that all the time. People watching. I be giving people stories and stuff like that. I was like, you had me at hello.
Yeah. Okay, Mike. So, okay, that's your vote, but what do you think is going to win, Mike? You still think Past Lives is going to win? Okay. Ricky, you disagree?
Okay. Past Lives is my number one movie from last year. It's not even close. That's the only movie I gave 5 stars to last year. I think it's the best movie of last year. I think the screenplay is brilliant. There's so many different layers to that screenplay that shows whether it's the masculinity of the husband. I think that to me was something that was beautiful and poignant, because you have a husband that's willing to not necessarily allow, the word's not allow, but allow his wife to explore things in a way that maybe a typical husband wouldn't. But to me, unfortunately, the movie that'll probably win this category is the most, I'll watch what I say, is The Holdovers. I think that's probably going to win. But that's definitely a movie that came out last year too. So I wouldn't be mad if Anatomy of a Fall won, though. I will say this. It could be Celine Song. She should be an Academy Award winning screenwriter, but I don't know. Maybe I don't think they have the cojones to give it to Celine. So
I just want to say this one other thing though, Sam, is that Past Lives from a screenplay perspective, I think is a masterpiece. I think it's genius of how that's put together. And you hate to say that people won't get that again, but I don't want her to win for something lesser. This is it. This is the one. This is the Rembrandt. So just go ahead on and spend the money.
Yep. Yeah. Upset.
Yeah, for me, it's really only between Anatomy of a Fall and Past Lives. And the truth of the matter is, Past Lives is the only movie last year that I watched it and I was like, I need a minute. Like, I need like a couple of days to kind of process what I just saw.
And right now you need a camera.
Oh, no. Yeah. See, it dropped me. I'm done.
We can hear you.
It used to be me with the camera issues. Now look how the turntables have turned.
Look, I promise I'm not crying. The movie did convict me. It was messing me up emotionally. But yeah, in all seriousness, though, my camera is jacked up. It's fine. I do think that this should be the win for Past Lives. If any other thing, this should be it. It would be it'd be tragic if they didn't win in this category. But I'm not disagreeing with Ricky. I could easily see The Holdovers winning this, because The Holdovers, a lot of people have put that up to being the best picture this year.
Yeah,
go ahead.
And Mike is shaking his head, but Mike, you know what's really interesting about that for The Holdovers is that the love that I was shocked about the over love that they are giving the holdovers.
Yes.
I enjoyed the movie, but I'm saying that the way in which it's like
I'm shocked too. I'm
yeah,
like, did I miss something? I'm like,
the overlove. I mean, it's like, oh my goodness, I've never seen anything like this in my life. This is absolutely amazing. It was good. It was really a solid movie. I enjoyed myself. But I think it's gonna be the holdovers, man.
Yeah, I think it's that classic movie aesthetic that people are used to seeing that they miss, of just a good story and a good, and even like the movie technically is almost like a Christmas movie too.
yeah.
I think it helped the appeal for anyone to really love and like
Yeah.
the movie, and I think that's what this has over the rest of the ones in the category.
I think the other thing though is that, like, I was saying how when you look at past lives, I could identify with that first scene. That first scene just got me. I do think that the holdovers is a film that has a little bit more universal appeal for a lot of people. Is that people that if you look at those three characters, that people could place themselves in each of those characters and say, "Oh, I could see. I knew a professor like this, or I could see a person like this." I think that as I hear people talking about it, it just had a real universal appeal. Thoughts, Rick?
Yeah, I agree with you 100% there, because like the film has, as it's a good movie. Like it's a good movie. I didn't hate the movie. I just don't think that it deserves the amount of love that it's not a great crafted movie. It's not a it reminds me to be similar to like Coda. It's a good movie that does not deserve the amount of overpraise, like you said, that it's gotten. Like there's just so much. I think there's like a mediocrity. It reminds you of like a movie that would have won Best Picture in like 1970 or 1980. You know what I mean? That's what I feel like that's what this type of movie is. But to me, I agree with you. It's just the overpraise. Like when I was talking to even fellow critics while we were out, when I was out at the awards, like the amount of people are like, "What's your favorite movie last year?" The Holdovers. I was like, wow. Like I was blown away. Like I'm just blown away. So I don't know. Teach its own.
Yeah, I just know for me personally that past lives, it took me 48 hours to even consider processing it. And that was the only movie that did that to me this year. And that says a lot. And I do think that it should win this. It's just, who knows? You never know. But yeah, let's go to the next category. Ooh, getting spicy. Best supporting actor. Who you guys got?
You show the list?
Huh?
Show the list?
I don't got it. I'm got
So you got
I forgot her name.
Downey, actor. Downey Jr., Gosling, De Niro. You said actor, right?
Oh, Robert. It's easily Robert.
To win?
he's gonna win, but do I really think that his was the best of the year either?
Right.
I don't.
That's the question.
Oh, you asked me what was the best? Okay.
Here comes the Barbie sign.
He may put up May December. Who knows?
Oh my! I will walk out.
I'm going to tell you who's not on the list on Clayton's list that I would have put on his list is I would have put Domingo on the list. This is the year he should have had two. He should have had two nominations. He should have had a nomination for best supporting, and he should have had a nomination for best actor. And I would have voted for him for best supporting because what he did with that character, if you saw the original, he made that his own. I say this to people all the time, is that he did a Luther Vandross. He took a song like House Is Not a Home and made people think that he made it. And people forgot that it was Dionne Warwick, you know. And then when they went back and listened to Dionne Warwick, which is the original Color Purple, oh, that's still solid. That's still good. But what they did with this song
Coleman.
is they made it their own, and I think that that Coleman Domingo should be on that list. And if he's not on the list, it's an absolute shame. And the only words I can have for that, if he's not on the list,
Oh, good job. Reggie got the puns, man. It's Pun City out here, baby. I'm loving it.
Reggie came ready with them discs, boy.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
All right. Go ahead, Mike.
I don't know. I feel kind of conflicted, because I would have that, maybe with Ryan, but I just. But you were absolutely right. But then that's the thing. I can't remember what year, but just like when you have a position of you have someone in Best Actor and in Best Supporting Role, they're gonna have to. It's a very difficult position to be in, but also just share just immense talent. Like there's only so much we can do. We just gotta pick one. Like you can't, be in two different categories, different roles. I don't know if that ever been done before, in my opinion. It
has.
But for a black man.
No, definitely not.
Thank you. So yeah,
it's hard for a black man to get one nomination.
So exactly, that's my point. I'm just saying, my point. That's what I'm like. I don't know, but definitely, again, I think who's going to win? Robert, who could? But I don't know. I think Ryan did a good performance in it, but yeah, I won't disagree with you, Reggie. You went on that one. Yeah.
All right, Ricky.
So who should win of the people that are going to be nominated? Ryan Gosling. Robert Downey Jr. is a good performance. I don't think it's a great. I think this is going to be a win along the same lines of Brendan Fraser and even DiCaprio's Oscar. We're going to give him an Oscar win for his career and not his performance. And it's not to say it's a bad performance. Again, it's a good performance. I just think Ryan Gosling's better. I think that Reggie, close your ears, buddy, for me. I think Mark Ruffalo, William Dafoe are better. I think, and the one that I love a lot I don't think he's going to get nominated, even though I would love to. I know Clayton has him. Sterling K. Brown in American Fiction is one of my favorite supporting performances of the year. I think that he brings the comedic but also heartfelt performance within it, because he plays a man that just uses comedy and jokes to comfort his pain, which I think is so relatable to so many different people in society. But Sterling K. Brown is just magnificent in American Fiction. Robert Downey Jr. is going to win, though, sadly. So,
well, if Sterling K. Brown and Domingo are both nominated, that would be my.
What in the world?
What's going on with Reggie and his puns tonight, baby?
Yeah,
man, he's killing it. I'm loving it.
Take some of the clips from this and post those.
So release into the world.
Yeah. Oh man. So I'm gonna say something real controversial. So please bear with me, Ricky. You might have to cover your ears with some of it. I think that the first three of these are some of the best performances this year. Okay. Now, I'm gonna preface it like this. I think that Ryan Gosling should be up here, but if he was like number 6 as opposed to like the number 5, I would put Coleman Domingo, and I would also put Charles Melton. I think Charles Melton in May December was the best thing in that movie. I think his performance was amazing. Not to say that Dominic, his first performance in The Holdovers wasn't good, but I think that Charles was a better performance than Dominic. And I honestly think that Coleman was a better performance than Ryan. I think the first 3, Sterling K. Brown was phenomenal in that. Especially the second time watching, like, man, some powerful performances. The other thing about Robert De Niro in The Killers Fly Moon, when you guys were talking about it, a lot of heavy lifting, bro. Like, he was all over that movie. Even when he wasn't on screen, he was all over it. And I do think that Robert Downey Jr., to what you said, Ricky, part of that is true, but we also haven't seen him act in anything but a Marvel movie in a very long time. And I think that this is a very strong performance for him. So what I think is going to be a lock as far as nominations is Robert De Niro, Robert Downey Jr., and I don't know if Ryan Gosling is going to be a lock up there, but it would be dope to see Coleman up there. But specifically, Robert Downey Jr. and Robert De Niro are going to be a lock as far as nominations. Who's going to win? It's probably going to be Robert Downey Jr., realistically. But I do think that Coleman Domingo should be up there. And I also think that Charles Melton should be up there, too. So
I think you make a good point and about Robert Downey Jr. because I made this point about Deon Cole. Is that I'm watching the movie and I'm like, I didn't know that was Deon Cole. And I'm like, oh, that's Deon Cole. And I think that the Robert showed that he could do something outside of for not that he hadn't before, but really did prove that he could do something outside of the character which he made iconic, which is Iron Man. So I could see how people would really gravitate toward that, and I think that was a good point.
Yeah, agreed.
All right, so next category is Best Supporting Actress. Our favorite category, the spicy one. Reggie, I'm gonna let you take that one, bro.
Well, so you said you want to be spicy. This is the one, of course, where we try to throw in all the black women, and then this year we got my boy saying that only one of them is going to be in there. So it's really interesting that if you look at it, he's thinking it's going to be Emily Blunt, Jodie Foster, Sandra Huller, Julianne Moore, and Divine Joy Randolph. I do think that it's kind of a lock for her. She seems to be sweeping these roles. And after interviewing her, I think she really elevated this character and did a really, really good job. My choice is not even on here because I did think that Danielle Brooks was by far of everybody, just by far the one in which I would have nominated and voted for. I think what she did with that character, it's so interesting. I agree with Ricky once again about this whole thing about how they marketed, how they pushed and put out The Color Purple, because it just makes so much sense that she would come out on top here.
Thank you, Reggie. Ricky.
Yeah, so look, this is nothing against Divine Joy because this is going to be an incredible win for her. It's monumental, obviously, what it means to her. It means to that the black people getting a win in this category. Nothing against her. I love her. She's great. I loved her in Dolomite Is My Name. Fantastic movie. Fantastic. I thought she should have been nominated then. However, Danielle Brooks should have been sweeping this entire category. Danielle Brooks gives, in my opinion, one of the best performances of anyone of 2023. First off, I saw Clayton's list and I wanted to throw my phone across the room because I saw that he didn't have her name on the list. If she's not nominated, it would be one of the worst snubs in the history of the Academy. Probably one of the worst supporting actress snubs since J-Lo from Hustlers, because she got snubbed a few years ago and she didn't get nominated for supporting. But this is just astronomically crazy. Again, Divine Joy, I think she's the heart and soul of the Holdovers. I think she's fantastic in that movie. It's going to be an incredible win. I'm so happy for her. It's going to be great for her career. However, Danielle Brooks is brilliant in that film and just breaks my heart that it's something like a naiad. No offense to Jodie Foster. She's a great actress, but God, that movie's so vanilla, literally and figuratively. Man, I don't know. It just would pain me to look, I'll sit here and threaten I'll never watch the Oscars again, and I'll watch them again no matter what, because I do it every year. You know what I mean? But this would be Danielle Brooks. Not hearing Danielle Brooks' name on Tuesday would I would stop talking about the Oscars for at least 15 minutes. So
all right. Thanks, Ricky. Mike, what are your nominations? And what do you think you get nominated for real?
For Best Supporting Actress?
Yes.
Definitely who's going to win is probably Holdovers is going to probably win for that. However, you're absolutely right. Immediately when I saw the film, I talked to my wife yo, Danielle Brooks, in my review, if she doesn't at least get a nomination or win, again, it would be in the stuff because, again, I felt she was, as much as again, you have Fantasia, amazing performance, so that she gave that film. But to me, the backbone of The Color Purple is that character, played by Danielle Brooks and Oprah. Like it. That's just that character. That defining moment of that film is the dinner table scene. Is that moment that shifts the emotional shift of that film. And again, that's just with us in our culture. Again, we remember that moment in film history. So the fact of recreating that in a different way, but also just amazing actress coming up in her career. I felt again the fact that I hear no name dropped of that, even in the Golden Globes or anything like that. I was like, nah. So I hope Tuesday we and I pray that again I know it's Sunday now, that I'm gonna fast for a day. So hopefully we'll see how this goes. So it's like just, and hopefully we see how this goes on Tuesday when they announce it. But again, you're absolutely right. I definitely believe that she should win, not only alone to be nominated.
Okay.
Sam, the other thing I just want to say one other thing though, to just echo something that Ricky said. Divine Joy Randolph, I love her. I love what she did to that role. I'm so happy for all the accolades she's getting. So the fact that I'm saying that I think that is Danielle Brooks has nothing to
Absolutely.
do, have absolutely nothing to do with Divine Joy Randolph. And if she win, I'm gonna ask, can I get her number? I'm gonna call her up. I'm gonna support her, all that kind of stuff, because I think that it is really great that she was able to take this role that I believe was initially an ancillary role and elevate it to a role that made it where people were like, oh, she's important too. That Mary is important too. She's not just a cafeteria worker. When I interviewed her, she talked about that. She said, "Oh no. I'm not gonna be just a cafeteria worker. I am the head of the culinary department at this school."
Mm-hmm.
That's elevation right there. So I just what Ricky was saying. I'm 100% there.
All right, so I'm gonna approach this differently. I'm gonna say what I think that the Academy is going to nominate in their top five, and then I'm gonna tell you my dream scenario. I'm gonna wait for Reggie to hold it up when the time comes. So I think that Divine Joy Randolph is a lock. I think that they're gonna nominate Penelope Cruz for Ferrari. I think that they're gonna lock in Emily Blunt, even though that's debatable in my personal perspective. I think that they're also gonna put in Sandra Healer for Zone of Interest. I think she's gonna end up in that spot. And think I think that Danielle is gonna make that list. It's gonna be because I think it's just too eye-catching to put both her and Divine in there. That would be fascinating. And I think that they're gonna do that. I don't think Julianne's gonna end up in there. And it'd be interesting if Emily doesn't make it in there, but I do think that Penelope Cruz, Divine Joy, Emily Blunt, and realistically, I think that Sandra and Danielle are going to end up in this. Now, this is my dream scenario. My dream scenario is Divine Joy Randolph would end up in there. Danielle Brooks would end up in there. Sandra Hiller would end up in there. Viola Davis and Air end up in there. And realistically, I would probably put in there, but I can't. I'm spacing on their names because they were really good best supporting. But yeah, those are my top four that I would want to be in there because I really feel like it'd be interestingly dope to have Viola, Divine Joy, and Danielle in there. That would be phenomenal because you were there, Reggie, when Viola did that speech and her perspective, like that.
Oh,
Oh, I know I think I picked it up, but it didn't go anywhere. But dude, it was iconic. I don't think I ever heard anybody articulate something so passionately in an interview that the internet was going left and they just took it a complete right.
What interview are you talking about?
Yeah, when we
Had to be there to see it.
yeah. You'd have to have been there. It was the press conference for Air, and it's really interesting because the director knew that the Q&A should have stopped right there. Once she finished,
Oh,
what he was like, if you knew your business, you wouldn't even ask another question. There's no more questions would have been asked because she dropped the mic on that.
Is it
Yeah,
recording?
that'd be
I
interesting.
got it listed on our page.
Okay.
That'd be interesting, Sam. But I will tell you, I felt like they destroyed the movie Air, trying too hard to not have Michael Jordan in the movie.
Yes.
And I think that impacted even the elevated performance of a Viola Davis, is because you would want to see that interaction between the two of them as opposed to see half of that interaction between them. And I just think that she did a really, really good job, but I think she could even elevated it more if she had somebody to really play off of. But they were so blindsided, like we can't show them, we can't show them, we can't show them, we can't show them, that it ruined it took away some stuff from the movie for me. So
No, that's fair, Reggie. Next up is Best Actor. Who we got?
go with Mike, man.
Mike. Remember, Mike, don't just list one person. Who you think is going to be nominated, and then who is your favorite?
Okay, nominated on the list. Okay, if I remember correctly, Coleman, obviously, Paul Giamatti, lock. Cillian, lock. I'm trying to think. Saltburn, lock. Joker, or Matt Reeves Joker, lock. Jeffrey, yes. I'm just making sure. Who I think is going to win is a 2-in-1 answer, because I don't know how it's gonna go. I'm really, because you mentioned about the hype of holdovers. I am shocked because of Paul Giamatti. Someone said is an actor's actor,
Hmm?
and what I think they're going to do is make a statement of saying, getting him, to win, if he is going to win. Who I think should win is Cillian. I do believe Cillian should win for Best Actor, and I don't know how Phil Paul wins, because again, I just I enjoyed the film. I enjoy his performance. Again, teachers, I enjoyed the perspective of his role as a teacher in this film as well. But again, I think that Cillian gave more out of his performance in Oppenheimer than Paul Giamatti in the Holdovers. So who I want to win, Cillian. Who I think is going to, it's between Cillian or Paul. And at this point, I can't tell.
All right, Reggie.
It's interesting. I felt that Jeffrey Wright ran circles around Cillian as an actor, and I think that and the reason I say that, I want to put some stank on it, is
Go
that
ahead. Go ahead.
that he played basically four characters. He played the character of the brother. He played the character of the son. He played the character of the lover. He played the character of the writer, and I forgot that he played the character of the writer. So he's playing two writers. But if you look at all five of those, he's not the same, and he doesn't play them the same. He doesn't play. And sometimes people say, well, he played them with nuance. No, he played them differently. It wasn't even like little nuances as you saw him playing the relationship with the people. He brought what was needed for each relationship, for each person. And he was funny. He was dynamic. He was dramatic. He did all the stuff that you needed to do. I'm Jeffrey Wright.
I agree with you. I know the Academy.
So, Reggie, who do you think that they're gonna actually make win? Who
I like what Mike said. I think that we might get surprised because there is this real love affair with the holdovers. and and you know, I like Giamatti.
I love
I,
him.
I like Giamatti. I could actually see that happening. So that's gonna be really interesting. I'm gonna have Mike on the bet phone. Oh well, he got the bet phone behind him. I'm gonna have Mike on because he might be right. Mike, I'm feeling that.
I totally agree with you on Jeffrey Wright. I totally agree with you. I love American Fiction more than anybody up in here. Right. I'm telling you this, but again, I know the Academy. That's just my stance on it. But you're absolutely right. When I'm talking about performance, Jeffrey Wright, a lot of people can't pick up it, but us, especially us folk, who had to play different no tones in real life, we see it. So yes.
All right. Ricky, who is your favorite performance, and then who do you think they're gonna put in for nominations?
This is who I think is going to be nominated. Obviously, Killian, Giamatti, Bradley Cooper, Jeffrey Wright, Coleman Mango. If the Academy had any balls at all, they'd actually say Zac Efron for the Iron Claw.
Yes.
They don't.
Yes.
So they don't. So I'm not. Another performance I think that won't get recognized is T. Yao for Past Lives. I think that he's another performance that I really feel like is really solid. John Magaro for Past Lives as well. We didn't even really talk about that. That's another performance I think is really supporting performance that got painted dust this entire year. Paul Giamatti's probably going to win. I think because it's an actor that's well loved, that people like, just like Brendan Fraser. Last year, Brendan Fraser deserved a Razzie more than he deserved an Oscar. So, and Giamatti at least gives a good performance this year. Of the nominees, I think Wright personally would be my favorite. I think Bradley Cooper belongs in this conversation for his performance. I don't think he's getting anywhere nearly enough love that he's been getting. He's been getting a lot of hate for some reason. But I think it's Killian or Paul, but Paul probably wins. Personally, I would pray that I hear Zac Efron's name, and that would be really cool. But
Paul probably wins by a nose. Excuse the pun.
Oh man. So yeah, I agree with you guys, like all of you. I think that who's a lot to get nominated is Bradley. I mean, pretty much everything that he put, that Clayton put up here, which is Paul, Cillian, Jeffrey, Coleman, Bradley. Now, the thing that I think is the best performance this year is absolutely Jeffrey Wright. I think what should be, it should be Jeffrey Wright up there, Bradley Cooper up there for sure. I think Zac Efron should be up there. And I'm trying to, man, that's hard. Between
my guy from Past Lives, I really like what Ricky said about that. I feel bad that I didn't even say that. Ricky, I feel you.
Yeah.
It's something about, like, it always happens. It always happens because even when it came to like certain movies in the past, this always happens. But realistically, it's gonna be between Cillian and Paul. Like it's kind of a toss up. I don't foresee them giving it to Coleman. I don't foresee them giving it to Bradley. If they were smart, they would give it to Jeffrey. Honestly, like it really should be that everybody's honing in. Like, is it going to be Jeffrey? Is it going to be Cillian? Is it going to be Paul? Like, who's it going to be? That is a compelling Best Actor like push. But I mean, most people are already like, it's going to be the Paul or Cillian. But Jeffrey Wright absolutely probably should win this year. So yeah, I don't know. The other thing I forgot to mention that I definitely did think that Coleman Domingo should have been nominated for Best Supporting. I forgot to even mention that. Absolutely, he should have been. But any of you guys that saw Sing Sing, he's even better in that movie. Wait for that next year. Next year's coming Sing Sing. He is phenomenal in that. But last but not least,
no, you got two more, right? You got Best Director and Best Picture.
Oh no, we gotta do Best Actress.
Oh, Best Actress. Okay, yeah.
Best Actress and Best Director, and then Best Picture. We're going. All right, so Best Actress. Who we got?
Can I run for? I gotta let me go first. I gotta run after my picks here. Sorry. Thanks guys for having me. I really appreciate it. I gotta jump right to another podcast after this, guys. I'd love
See
to
you
be
later,
back in.
Ricky. Thanks for hey, Ricky. I just want to say thanks for
What is this?
showing up.
Oh my gosh.
He's slaying tonight. Real quick
Yeah.
though, for best actress, the actresses that will get nominated, that should be nominated, are two totally different things. Personal, I'll give you my personal 5 first. Tiana Taylor for 1001, Anjanou Ellis for Origin,
Thank you.
Fantasia for The Color Purple. That's 3. Greta Lee for Past Lives. Margot Robbie for Barbie. I have 6 because I'm going to give Carey Mulligan for Maestro. I'm going to give 7. Emma Stone for Poor Things. There's not that many categories, but most of those names you won't even hear Oscar morning because the Oscars are cowards. But I think who I think should win this. Close your ears, Reggie. Emma Stone should win this hands down over Lily Gladstone. Sorry, Lily Gladstone fans. I know it would be a monumental win, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Lily Gladstone's not even as good as Carey Mulligan was in Maestro, or Margot Robbie in Barbie, or Sandra Hüller in Anatomy of a Fall. I can keep going on and on. I'm sorry, guys. But yeah, that's there's just so many better performances that won't be nominated than will be nominated in this category. It's very infuriating. Also, shout out to Tiana Taylor. I love you. But yeah. So.
Oh, real quick, Ricky, before you leave, go ahead and just do your best director and best picture. I gotta hear your best picture more than anything, but
best director. So for some, let's see here. I've got Nolan, Scorsese, Lanthimos, Yorgos, Greta. I hope, just because if the Academy screws her over, I'll be so mad. And then Jonathan Glazer for The Zone of Interest. Celine Song, Bradley Cooper belong in the conversation. So does Justin Triet for Anatomy of a Fall, because I don't know. She's just incredible. And for picture, I do think that all your typical ones here, I do think The Color Purple gets the 10th slot. I really do believe in that film. I really hope it does, because it's belonging in the conversation. We all know Oppenheimer's probably going to win because, well, the Academy are cowards. But yeah, so Zone of Interest, Color Purple, Maestro, Past Lives, American Fiction, Barbie, Holdovers, Poor Things, Killers of the Flower Moon, and Oppenheimer for picture.
But your favorite this year was Past Lives. You think that Past Lives is the best picture this last
Past Lives should win at least 5 Oscars, maybe 6, I think, because it should win cinematography. It should win supporting. No, I wouldn't say supporting actor. It should win screenplay. I think she deserves director. That's just my opinion, and I think it should win best picture as well. Yes, I think it's the best film made. I think it's one of the best films of this century. The 3.5 whole years of it that we've had of it, but it's one of the best first-time director movies ever made. And the screenplay is just it's the only movie that has really made me like. It makes you think, man. Mm-hmm. Like there's a lot about that movie that's really deep and profound that I don't think we've seen in recent times. So yeah, guys, thank you. Reggie, I love you. Sam, love you. Mike, see you guys.
See you, man.
I will. I'll be back whenever you want me. I'll be here. You just text me. I'm like, just call me on the bat phone, as Reggie said. So
yeah.
See you later, Ricky.
See you guys.
Nice to meet you, man.
All right, so let's go ahead and run through this. So he already gave his best actress. What do you guys got?
Definitely, he mentioned Tiana Taylor. I'll add her in, but because I'm not hearing nothing, and I feel like that is that to me, I feel like it's a miss for a lot. I mean, for a lot of people, but to me, yeah, Tiana Taylor should be on that list. Emma Stone definitely going to win. Again, I think as much as they're saying other performers, I think Emma Stone's going to win for best actress. Margot Robbie's going to be in there. Maestro as well, I think. But yeah, I think this is going to be Emma Stone.
Okay. Reggie, what you thinking?
Yeah. So it's really interesting to me. The reason Bradley Cooper is not being mentioned a lot in a lot of this is because Carey Mulligan just killed it. She stole that movie. She absolutely killed it, and she should win this category. Of the people who are going to be out there, I like the fact that we're talking about Tiana Taylor. But come on, did anybody watch the movie? Did anybody watch the movie? Is it Katya Woods talks about this all the time? There's movies that we have to watch, like Poor Things, that I would never watch in my life, but I have to watch it because it's what people are going to talk about. But did anybody watch? Did the rest of the voting body watch Tiana Taylor?
No,
No, nobody saw that movie.
But they didn't. Again, it goes back.
they didn't promote
to
it.
market.
Like you barely. Yeah.
But even if when they don't promote some of these movies, there was no promotion for Past Lives. I don't even know how I ended up watching it. I mean, I'm saying it
Because it
wasn't,
was in your mailbox.
but it wasn't nothing big, nothing. But I watched it nonetheless. I
think the thing with Past Lives though is kind of like that. I hate to do this. Everything Everywhere All at Once, or
Yeah.
like a movie that does really good early on and they keep rolling it through. I mean, if you go 2 years ago, like Top Gun, it made it all the way to the beginning of the year and to the end of the year, and that's only because they kept rolling it and rolling and rolling. And that's the same thing they did with Past Lives. But there's only a few of us that actually got to see Tiana's movie, and like, because it got critical praise. Like everybody undeniably said her performance was great, but it's kind of like if they had been sending the emails and just rolling it along, it just didn't get that, unfortunately.
Okay. Well, I think Carey Mulligan. I really do think that she made Maestro. What she did was flawless, man. She was really really good, and I think that she ran circles around Emma Stone. I think that Emma is a ended up being a victim to the material, because I don't think the material in Poor Things elevated itself to Oscar nomination. And I said that before, but if she actually wins, the placard that I'm going to be holding up, and I've held it up a couple of times, and I'll hold it up just one more time. If she wins, hurt my feelings, man. Hurt my feelings.
Oh man. So for me, I think who they're gonna actually bring into this is gonna be Emma for sure. She's gonna get nominated. Carrie's gonna get nominated. I think Sandra and Lily are probably gonna get nominated, but I don't know if they're gonna nominate Margot. I think that what they should do is they should put Ingenue in this. Ingenue should absolutely be in the top 5. Tiana should be in the top 5. They have 2 of the strongest performances this year. And it's a shame that they're not being recognized for their work in those 2 movies. I actually agree with Reggie. I think that Carrie is my top performance. Like I out of that list, if Ingenue was in the running, it'd be hard. If Tiana was in the running, she would be my pick. But yeah, I think if we're keeping down to the standard list that I'm thinking the nomination is going to come through, it would probably be Carrie for the win. But I think that Carrie and Emma are definitely going to get nominated. I think Sandra's going to nominate as well. If they got rid of Lily and Margot and put Ingenue and Tiana in, I would be fine with that. But I don't think they will.
Now, what I do want to say though is that I don't want to play Margot's role cheap. Though, is that what she had to do to embody that character of Barbie. A lot of times because we'll be a comedy or these light moments, we don't give people the credit for what they did in that film. And I thought she was really really good in embodying this character. In fact, annoyingly so. When you be like, yeah, that's the Barbie that I remember. I mean, and in your head or that you've conjured up, I thought she did a good job. But I don't think that she'll be the winner of that.
Yeah, she's just such a great actress, and I mean, she just naturally fits in the role. I think that's one of the things. Like, she disappears because she's just so naturally gifted into the role. I started in the beginning of the movie Napoleon. I was sitting there like, oh man, Joaquin Phoenix is just killing this. But then I started to realize like Joaquin is just a great actor, but the way that they handled the source material and the story didn't go anywhere.
No,
like it went more towards Vanessa's Kirby performance than anything. But I digress. Let's go ahead and get to director. What do we got for best director?
Well, you guys mentioned hopefully we're mentioning a little earlier. I think it was Ricky who mentioned that he hoped that that Poor Thing, not Poor Things. I'm sorry,
Past
Past
lives.
Lives was in that, and that's who I would want to win that for sure. I actually think that that our boy from American Fiction,
Yes.
Cord Jefferson, should be in the talk for
Mhm.
this. I think that those two people should their first time, but I think that those two people put the best two movies out for the year.
Yep.
And I wish that that were the choices that we have, but we have, I think, the kind of choices that we normally are going to get from are these type of bodies and organizations. And so, if you're going to ask me who's going to win, I think that Nolan probably will win for this one as well. You know, maybe they'll be nice and do it to Scorsese, but I think that it's going to be a Nolan.
Yeah. Mike, what you thinking?
Yeah, definitely. I think Celine song that I do believe for me it was my one of my favorites of this year. Um, but again, as I said earlier, like um, American Fiction. Again, I say this my favorite. To me, what I believe the best film of the year. I mean, I'm not going to talk about it, but American Fiction to me touched a lot, like to me in so many different ways. And when I showed it against my wife at the end, she was in tears. Now, mind you, the ending was just bittersweet, not even a comedy, whatever. And she just started crying because of the way of the taking in terms of narratively through this entire film and to be like, wait, that's how this film ends? And it's like, but is that's reality of one turn of the black media. And she was just like, it's a shame. It just broke her. And for me, as a first time director, it's like this is to me as someone as a black film critic, whatever. I want to see more films tackle this and move in a direction saying no, we're no longer just critiquing black films, we're critiquing films,
Mm.
right? So and for me, I feel like he's one of my favorite directors to at least get recognized, be for a nomination. Again, knowing the business, going to be Nolan. I've been a Nolan fan for years, one of my underrated directors, so I'll be happy that he wins. But again, also I believe that for American Fiction, definitely should be to be part of the conversation, especially being, I think this being one of his first films. So yeah,
Yeah. I mean, I think that I'm gonna just be honest. I think Christopher Nolan is a lot. I mean,
yeah,
they he's made better films that he should have gotten an award for. It's really just kind of like
his
it's like
career.
Leonardo DiCaprio winning for The Revenant. That wasn't his best performance. But it was kind of like long overdue. Like this is a good to great movie. So you did this. This is your honoring for that. And I think that's the reason why Clayton posed it as such. I Clayton put up here a couple of different ones. I don't know, not to say these movies aren't good, but I would keep Nolan up here. I'd keep Martin up here. Maybe Payne. And that's not to say the Zone of Interest isn't really great, but I think that Past Lives should be at the top of this list, to be honest with you. Cillian should be on the top 5 for Best Director, in my personal opinion. And I also think that Cord should be up here over Yargos for Poor Things. I really do. And I don't know. The Academy, this is a very interesting one because I think the Academy could end up putting either one of those in. They're going to give a gimme somewhere. Somebody's going to get a buy. And I just don't know if it's going to be Cord or if it's going to be Cillian. My bet is probably on Cillian because of Past Lives.
You
Because
think you mean Celine's song?
Celine, yeah, yeah, yeah. I think Celine is gonna probably be the one that's gonna get in. But I wish that Cord would get in. Now, that's not to say that American Fiction is gonna get in the Best Picture race, but I, you know, we all know how it goes. But that is my hope. But I think that it's possible that she could get in there. She could get in there. So last but not least, we got Best Picture. What are you guys' thoughts on the top 10?
So I think Ricky pointed out all the normal normal movies. We've talked ad nauseum about some of our favorite movies. Again, my two would be Past Lives and American Fiction. I think that when you talk about just a narrative, is that again I don't even see how Oppenheimer as Best Picture would even make it for me. It doesn't even make it. I put it on a list because I think it's a cinematic achievement of what he did. But when I sat in the theater and watched these movies, what I do is I do exactly what Celine Song was doing at the beginning of the movie. I people watch. And when I people watch, I watch to see what are other people doing, how are other people acting, and what American Fiction, the roller coaster of emotions that American Fiction had people in. And what's funny is that some people are laughing at stuff that wasn't funny because they
Funny.
didn't get it,
They
right?
didn't get it.
And
Yes.
as my pastor said, and I hope this is true, you'll get that when you get home, is that the way in which he wove the story made it palatable to people he was really offending, that he was really saying, y'all some fools. This is how y'all are acting. This is what you guys are doing. But the way Cord wove that story was unbelievable. And then you come back and you talk about a Celine Song. I think she did the same thing.
Yeah.
So when you talk about Best Picture, I think it's a no contest. It has to be one of those two. For me, it would be American Fiction. If Ricky said for him, it would be Past Lives. I would be okay with that. I didn't have those same emotions with Oppenheimer. I watched it. It is a cinematic achievement. What he did with that movie, you cannot help but say, dude, you did that thing. You did that. But was it the best film of the year? Nah, I don't think so.
Yeah. Go ahead, Mike. What were you gonna say?
Listen, I said this. I only saw Oppenheimer once. Right. Not because it's a bad movie. Not because just because I cannot determine a bad movie because it's rewatchable or not. No, I've seen a lot of great movies I only saw once. But again, you did exactly the same thing. When I watch a movie, I people watch. American Fiction, I'm telling you, I should have recorded my wife while she was watching this movie because the best scene to me in this year was a scene between Jeffrey Wright and Issa Rae having a conversation talking about what the definition of what black art was supposed to be. It was nothing them to eating some freaking salad and while they're trying to read these books, and she's like, "Hey, by the way, you like this book?" Not knowing, hey, the author of this book is sitting right across from you. It's like, "Hey, you actually think this is not good art, the good uh art, black art and everything?" Yeah, it's making a mockery of it. Well, then how is it no different from your book? What are you talking? And then we go back and forth. And then you also talk about conversation about, well, are you just doing this because you have against black women artists, whatever? No, but I also think that where we come from, we should be more than this and stuff. But then she's like, well, I actually take it from these people's experiences. I didn't make a joke out of it. These are people's lives. This is the dilemma between black people, and this is what the term now where we are in a lot of movies today about wokeness, right? This movie is anything but anti woke because it's calling it out. So I don't know. To me, this film it felt touched me in many ways where I feel like yes, nobody's. I'd say that a lot of black people not gonna see this movie, and they should. They're gonna see Color Purple, which I understand, but I felt American Fiction was a more impactful film. Was going to win Oppenheimer. Cinematic achievement, absolutely. But then what I believe should win is American Fiction. It's definitely a current state of what movies, what people are complaining about from Disney, from all the other film studios. They're complaining about this film is calling out in the way and also moving the conversation forward. So that's just my personal bias. American Fiction should win Best Picture.
Ooh, that's another mic drop. So both of y'all came with the heat. So I think that the two movies that I don't know the Academy are going to pick are really going to be between Oppenheimer and The Holdovers. It's one of the two. It's one of the two. And it really depends on certain things, but I'm almost edging that the Holdovers wins, but they give Nolan the best director. I really do. Because no matter what, Robert Downey Jr. is going to win for best supporting. Cillian realistically is probably going to win for best actor. But it never happens. They never go and have the best director and the best picture. It really rarely happens. But I think that they're going to probably give Nolan best director, and they may give the Holdovers best picture. Now, my personal opinion, and I got a whole bias in all this, because I actually want Spider-Verse to be in the top 10 of this year. I think it hasn't happened in years to have an animated feature to be in the best picture category, but I think it's deserving of it. You can remove one of these and put it in there, but I do think that Past Lives is and should be, if not the best film this year. I really do. Like I would give it to it. But to you guys' point, I think that American Fiction, if it won, I think it's deserving of it. Like, I looked at this with my wife, and I watched with my wife, my mom, and my dad. He don't even stay awake during movies, but he's still awake for that one. And they were like, they were laughing, they were getting emotional. Like, it, for us, it's different. We get it, but we also understand the brilliance of the execution, because we know for a fact some people ain't gonna get it, and that's fine. And you all said it, like, Past Lives is no different. Like, it's so, if you haven't lived through certain circumstances that in Past Lives, you won't understand what it's doing to you. you won't understand that reality. And when you do, you're like, dang, what am I supposed to do with this, man? Anatomy of Fall is a great movie, but I think that Past Lives and American Fiction are superior films than pretty much everything else on that list. I just want Spider-Verse in the best picture on this. That's my want. That's my selfishness involved. But anyway, I digress. I think that's it. We've gone 2 hours and 30 minutes tight. We done missed games. We done missed family time. Reggie, I appreciate you for coming. Mike, I appreciate you for coming. Ricky, I know you're not here right now, but we appreciate you. Reggie, I want you to give yourself some time to plug, man. Where can everybody find you?
Yeah, I'm Reggie, the Real Critic. So that's REEL. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and a little bit on TikTok at The Real Critic. Again, that's REEL. You can also listen to me on vocalo.org. Every Friday I'm on, and then they post it so you can listen to my reviews there. And if you're in Chicago, you can catch my writings at the Garfield Londale Voice.
Appreciate you, Reggie. I see a Wilson up there. Is that a Wilson above you?
Oh man, look, that's all I do is play basketball. I'll talk to you about that later, man.
Oh, no. I'm talking about Wilson from Castaway.
Oh yeah. You did see that. All right. I thought you was trying to talk about my basketballs, man. You saw that one, and then I thought you were just checking out my Wilsons, man. But no, you talking about movie stuff.
Yeah.
Are we talking about movies? Are we talking about movies?
Oh man, but nah, Reggie, I appreciate you for coming, man. Sorry for keeping you so long. Mike, where can everybody find you, man?
Yeah, you can find me on YouTube, Instagram, and on TikTok at Jedi Mike 7. On YouTube, I do reviews, podcasting. I also do my Instagram. I do shorts and movie reviews and interviews with actors and directors and stuff like that. And you also find me here on Team JVS too, which I'll be posting videos, especially tomorrow. A whole bunch of them. You stay tuned to that. Hit notification bell on this channel, Team JVS. But you can find me personally at YouTube at Jedi Mike 7.
Right, bro. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate you,
Reggie.
man.
I need to get your we need to link up.
Oh yeah, we'll stay on a little bit longer. But thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully this gave you some kind of insight. We're gonna drop this right at 12 o'clock midnight. So hopefully you guys get a little bit to pick your brain. Starting in the morning, they're gonna be giving the nominations out. So stay tuned for whatever our predictions are. If they were right, if they're wrong. Maybe we'll have a post conversation about this, because there's a couple other people that want to be here tonight. They couldn't. So maybe we'll talk about what got snubbed, what made it. Ingenue, pray you make it. And Man, I ain't even talk about Origin. Should Origin be in Best Picture? Anyway, we're gonna go. We're gonna go. Thank you guys. Appreciate everybody, and stay tuned. We got a lot more content coming. Peace.
Falling out the top of I can see the skyline, 50 mile radius on my timeline.